Little flippers. It could literally be Adam sitting here with a little turtle suit. It's amazing.
Bro, you're the coolest sport I've ever seen in my life. Or you owe Maryke a large debt. Either way.
Both.
Okay, good.
No,
I do owe you.
You don't.
Yes, I do.
Well,
I mean,
Can I bank it? This is not whatever you owe me for.
new fins, new masks, new
I've also
wetsuits.
had to do this. I've had to wear this little mask. Hello, everybody. We are live, and and we don't know what we're doing, but we have Maryke and Nik in the studio. Nik is Maryke's turtle, as it should be.
I'm Bob's second cousin, once removed.
Which is great because Yoshi was Jewish and you've always wanted to be a Jewish turtle, so now's your chance.
Yeah, except you misspelled his name. It was actually her name, sorry. Yossi.
Yes.
How should that have been spelled?
Yeah, Yossi.
Thank you.
So I don't know why you guys put the H in.
You see.
But no, the Japanese did that.
Oh, was it the Japanese? Why were they involved?
Because they found it was Yoshi.
I don't think that, especially after Pearl Harbor, we shouldn't have involved them. Think how many turtles they killed in that attack.
They shouldn't get any naming or spelling rights.
No, I'm defending the Japanese. They're amazing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of that? Sushi?
No.
Oh, just in general?
They're the
But everyone's
nicest
amazing.
people.
Why would you have to defend everyone?
Didn't they do something bad in
defend
Seaspiracy? Don't we hate them after watching that?
Is that Japanese?
Are we starting the show with
Yeah, let's
Seaspiracy?
start the Seaspiracy. Is it the Japanese? But, I mean, whose fault is Seaspiracy?
There was a scene in Japan, wasn't there? Yes, there
Yeah,
was.
the cove. The speakers are about to fall over.
Oh, shit. Okay, careful, you're rocking. Nik, come forward and you hold this thing and bring your mic with you.
Okay.
Push your mic forward. Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Actually, have to move a whole sheep into place.
That chair's going to break by the end of the show, which is kind of also part of the point. It's going to be very exciting.
He's totally playing the part of like an 80-year-old turtle.
Does anyone have any courgettes?
I'm still trying to get my mask to work.
Please, we should have brought some carrots for you.
Is that what turtles eat?
That's what
Courgettes
Bob
and
eats.
carrots.
How did where they get carrots from? In the middle of the ocean?
No, so...
I mean, cucumbers I can understand.
Yeah, but carrots. Have you ever dug a carrot out of the ocean?
We're very scientific about what we feed the rehab turtles.
Why need the rehab? Why can't normal turtles eat
No, normal turtles are eating all sorts out in the
wild. Can I just ask a
wild.
question on behalf of all the confused audience members out there, all 7 of you?
Yeah, exactly.
What exactly are we doing here? I don't even know what I arrived. I looked on the pavement. There was this outfit. I thought Art Matthews had thrown out like his Halloween outfit from 2020 because it's triggering.
Yeah.
And then you pick it up and go, no, you'll be wearing this, Nik. Why are we here? What is going on? We're in a castle?
Yes.
Have you ever been in a castle in a turtle suit drinking a cup of tea?
No.
That's why we're here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, you gave up quite quickly.
Have you ever,
I was expecting more of a
touching
lashback, to be
muscles.
honest.
Have you ever seen Art in a sea queen headgear?
No, hold on. Let me get a close up.
Close up with you.
I have to take this mask off. It's making me nauseous.
It's like when you wear. It's like when you wear those.
Have we not had enough mask wearing, Maryke?
Yeah, but this is that's. I thought it will be great to swap.
It also prevents
mask
turtle
mask.
COVID, apparently.
Which is only spread through the eyes, which everyone knows.
The eyes.
Okay, so that's a great conversation. First of all, the reason that I wanted you, sorry Nik, I love you to pieces. I'm a huge fan.
I know, I'm just
He's my security blanket.
side flipper.
But I always wanted Maryke to come on board, and she was like, "I'll bring my buddy Nik." I was like, "Are you joking? That was."
I'm a security like.
Oh, security
gonna be
blanket.
like,
What do
that
the
was gonna be
blanket?
someone-
Security fleece.
I was going to hope to get at some stage. And she was like, oh, but I'll just bring him along. He's my tag along turtle. I was like, amazing. Are you joking?
Playing the role proud. Look at
Jeez,
that.
Rocking it in the house. So, but the point is that you leaving, and I'm sad about that. And I don't think enough people know about the good work that you've done and that you're about to do. So that was my step A.
Oh.
That was what it was. First of all, tell us when you're leaving, so that Nik and I can start
So-
preparing emotionally.
But I think leaving has changed in the sense of we're so global, it actually doesn't matter where you are.
Okay. No, that's true. But
Yeah.
you are leaving our shores, like young Yossi, the
Yeah,
Jewish.
I am. So hopefully, I don't know, I keep saying in 2 weeks' time. I've been saying that for about a month. So
Okay, so you're not leaving. So you're just lying. You're just looking for
No,
attention.
Yeah. I just wanted to be in this cave with my turtle and the sea queen hat.
That's what turtles say.
Oh my
So
God.
now I'm actually starting a new job on the 1st of May based in the Netherlands.
Okay.
So I'm super chuffed about the fact that I'm going to be living in Zeeland.
She's like.
And what's super cool about it is that's sort of the Dutch for sea land.
That
And
does.
I like Sealand very much, so
that
I'm
does
actually a
suit.
Sealand ambassador, so I think that just worked
Okay.
out really well. That's
Okay,
probably
that-
why I'm going.
That is cool.
So Holland's super cool because they're incredibly sustainable.
Yeah.
And the place where I'm going to work, it's actually a big fish farm, which is a difficult thing to tell people after Seaspiracy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is
But
controversial
we can
now.
get into that now.
We certainly shall.
But it's, it's off the grid, and that's amazing. It's always been sort of my dream for the aquarium was to have it off the grid within 10 years. So we're 5 years through that.
Okay.
And now I'll be working at a much bigger facility that's got their own wind turbines.
Ooh.
So I reckon I'll be staring at the wind turbines for the first couple of weeks.
Is it
instead
true
of
that
working.
wind turbines kill hardy does?
But luckily there are no hardy does in the Netherlands. And no,
I think I'm moving there.
you want to put a wind turbine in your garden immediately. But they figured out if they color the blades dark, then the birds can actually figure it out that it's a problem and not fly into it. So it is a problem.
Hardy dolls in particular.
No,
Are
I don't
hardy
think
dolls
hardy
dolph-
does. No, all birds actually. So there's always a pro and a con.
So if they paint them dark, the bird,
Yeah.
that'd be the opposite to me. I want the lightest color blade on earth, so I can see that I'm about to fly into it.
That's what you think, but it didn't work for the bird. So for some fluke reason, they figured out that it's a lot better when it's painted dark.
And I also agree, because imagine having like these multicolored props everywhere, all these Lumo things, like Darth Vader going.
That will be pretty nice, actually. So I'm excited about going to Europe, but actually, initially, I thought I'll never go to the Northern Hemisphere because I get so cold so quickly. I'm a
Yes.
complete wuss.
Yeah.
And then, thankfully, I went to Antarctica and I realized that
yeah.
the cold is really nice.
Did you go with Nik to Antarctica?
No invitation, nothing. Not even would
Not
you be
even
interested?
Yeah. Not even a hint of maybe for you to say no
I
to.
didn't need my little duty blankie.
Yeah. She was like, there's no turtles in Antarctica.
Yeah,
Sorry,
don't
it
need
didn't
your
make
bootsy
sense."
out.
I'm still trying to figure out how I managed to go because there are no turtles in Antarctica.
What did you do? What were you doing in
Oh,
Antarctica?
it was so much fun.
Okay, tell us, please.
I was just really lucky that Rian Manser asked me to join.
Rian. Shout out Rian. We love him.
And he, during lockdown, like everybody else, went a bit silly and mad and came up with a project of taking 5 young students, like kids who were in matric last year, because they had a really sucky matric, actually.
Yeah, they did.
And I was going to say I own a matriculant. So my actual daughter was in matric last year as well. So she's
Until
not
they
a
leave the house,
matriculant.
they are pretty much your property. You can, I mean, you do own them.
They now own themselves, which is why I can go to Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
And the idea was to get these 5 young adults and give them this insane opportunity so that they can come back and
This is not working.
on point.
This is fucking terrible. If I can just be honest with you. But I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll hold on to it for as long as I can. And there's a reason why Jack Mantis here is saying, what the hell is going on here? So big shout out to Jack.
Where's
I don't know, Jack.
Where's Jack? I haven't seen him in ages.
These are your mates, Jack. I have no freaking idea what's going on here. But this
We
is what
miss Jack.
we love Jack. Jack is good. We went and found a big pony.
I know,
and
he
he
did,
got
eh?
it to mate with another big pony. And are you just making ponies now?
So can I what's the age restriction on our little show today?
No age restriction.
Oh, so while I was Google Earthing like where I'm going,
Yeah.
right near this fish farm that I'm going to, is a place, and on Google Earth it's called Lakshavengen Schapenfokkerij.
Pippi Fokkerij.
The Schapen, okay.
That's
doesn't
that mean a chicken factory?
A Pippi Fokkerij. Okay, so this obviously is a sheep farm.
Kippie Fokkerij. That's a chicken farm.
Really?
In Dutch, yeah.
A kikkie.
Kippie.
Dus een kippie Fokkerij.
So there's a Schapenfokkerij. So
Schapenfokkerij?
I had to Google it, and I was like, is this actually for real?
Is this where the Dutch Australians live?
So I'm going to go to the visfokkerij.
The fish Fokkerij.
That's what you're doing, is to make more fish.
Yes, so
Okay,
I actually messaged them and said, am I going to work at a visfokkerij? And they're like, did you not realize you're going to be a visfokker? And I was like,
I'm going to grow up.
life goals, man. I didn't.
Yeah. It's very difficult to hold them down.
So slimy.
Okay, I'm getting out of this conversation
Not a fuck,
right
you're done.
now.
You are completely. You're probably going to lose your job by the end of this, unfortunately. Sorry, but the good news is we've got lots of work here.
We're going
lots
to go
of
back
gifts
to
to feed.
Antarctica quickly. And young
Okay.
adults that we needed to inspire. How did this happen? We completely downgraded into some dismal...
derailed.
What are you talking about? This is
dog.
amazing. It lets
So-
young people trust you because they know that you're not putting on some facade. They also realize that we're all just living our funniest life and best
Yes.
lives, and we're allowed to talk about Visfokkerij, Schaapfokkerij when the time presents itself in the dungeon.
But in Holland, it's the real world. Word in the real world. It goes back to Antarctica. So we took these
Okay,
young
yes.
adults
Well,
because
thank
the
you.
idea was for them to experience the environment and
Yeah.
actually come up with practical solutions so that they can inspire their own communities on how to have a positive impact
Sorry,
on
this
the
happens a
world
lot
and
during
on
the
the
show,
environment
Okay, yeah.
and work on climate change. So we had to quarantine, of course. We had to get 4 COVID tests, lost some brain cells in the process.
Yes. Yeah.
And then what was really nice is we flew in a cargo plane. So we didn't go on a ship, we flew across, which was insane. First in a cargo plane because you're in a little jump
there's no
seat.
seats or anything. Oh, there is
There's
like
little
general
jump seats, yeah. But there's no cladding, so it's noisy and it was amazing. And then landing on the ice is just, I mean, you know, when you fly out at sea, you just see sea, but when you land on the ice, you only see ice. So that was really impressive.
So literally flew from Cape Town to Antarctica?
Straight, yeah.
How long is that flight? Like 7 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours.
Yeah.
And
So it's very doable.
How do you land on ice?
The same way you land on tar, I
Just
suppose.
a much longer runway, like a
It's-
27k runway.
It's literally like a huge, but Antarctica's like a huge ice rink. So some places it's very extremely slippery, and then you wear those crampons, and that is so fun. I didn't want to take mine off and if you don't have them on,
You just bail.
totally. And then because we were midsummer, so there's a lot of ice melting. So
Yeah.
we saw that for real, and being in the conservation space and understanding climate change, I never realized how quickly it's happening because we were seeing it while there.
Yeah.
And what we also experience while there is nothing is easy there. So it's the driest, windiest, coldest continent, obviously, on planet.
Yeah.
And even though it's covered in ice, if you want water, you've got to melt the water. So it's really difficult.
Yeah.
You can't just open a tap and there's no luxury
Yeah.
about it. And because of that, you've got to be really mindful of your impact. You can't just... In fact, when we got there are no showers. So that's why we had to swim. But that was really nice.
Were you vomiting?
And the toilet's really weird, so that it doesn't like flush. It's like it sort of eats everything, and then everything needs to come back to South Africa.
What? You
And
have to bring your poo back with you?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't you? Well, the logistics company's got to bring it back.
Okay.
So all waste must come back. So you don't
Okay.
leave anything there. And it was really interesting because the logistics company, the pilots and the plane, they're all Russians. And Rian said to me when we got there, like, they're really friendly. They just don't come across very friendly. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's my mission. I'm going to love them and they're going to love me back.
Yes.
They were so funny and they were so nice.
Oh, great.
So on the flight back, I asked the one guy, because you bring back these fuel drums, but without the fuel.
Yeah.
What's in the drum? And he's like, poo-poo. Yeah, poo-poo. So it was really amazing to experience what actual green living or environmentally friendly living is.
Can be done, yeah.
And there, it's not like a choice. That's normal. That's how you have
necessity.
to be there. And if we all live like that, maybe don't freeze our poo-poo. But if we all live like that, the planet will be happier, I reckon. So it was a great experience. It was really.
How long were you there for?
Only a week, so it was very short. But the sun never sets in summer.
Whoa.
So it felt like 2 weeks because you make the most of it.
And you were there with
day.
Rion. I saw that. I also want him on the show, and he was also he was going to be involved in the first little delivery of the Impossible Machine to the harbour. So I've hung out with him. He's a very, very good guy. Yeah,
he's awesome. We had lots of fun. I don't like saunas, and he's like, please be my, like, I always used to do blanket for the sauna.
They have saunas there.
So the most southern sauna in the world is at the place where we stayed. And no, I find them like a bit creepy that you go and sit and sweat with a whole lot of strangers. But so Rian and I did in fact, we first went for a swim, and it was 1 degree Celsius, the seawater. And then, seawater, lake water.
Yeah.
And then we did the sauna thing, which was actually lots of fun. Maybe because it's Antarctica.
Yeah.
And then outside, so it's because it's a Russian base, so they've got a cold tub, not a cold. It's like
it's
just
a cold,
below, cold, 2 degrees Celsius. So Rian was like, okay, the challenge is on. We've got to sit for 1 minute.
Yeah.
So he got in for a minute and got out. It was fine. So it's like, okay, I'll do 2 minutes. 2 minutes is quite fine. And then I went for a swim in the lake. And he got back in. And when I got back up, he's like, he did 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And I was like, oh, now I've got to go in longer.
Yeah.
Then I did 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we decided this is not getting a bit stupid. But it was doable.
So what did you manage to do in 5 minutes because you swam in the lake?
No, because I'm tough.
She's tough.
No, I'm not. I'm a wuss. I don't like cold water. It was just, I think, because the air temperature.
Could you get in the
so
sauna
cold.
after you'd been in the?
Yeah, did I? I think I did, but I was cold for like about 2 or 3 hours. Like you're cold to your core. But it's because we had Ryan Stramrud, obviously, on as a speaker beforehand, because we were stuck in quarantine for 9 days.
Yeah.
And we had to keep these youngsters busy. So we had lectures, lots like school.
Were you there already? Or before you left?
Hotel. We stayed at the
Quarantine.
Table Bay Hotel.
Right.
Yes, it was very nice.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they were great sponsors. So they put
Was that on the way back?
No, before, because you can't fly internationally.
Yes.
Well, we couldn't actually, but so this was the expedition, so we had to do full-on quarantine.
For how long?
We had to self-isolate for a week, which is really difficult. I don't know if any of you have done real self-isolation.
I've tried in the dungeon, I did.
Oh, okay.
Close, but I still managed to get out.
Yeah, and then we were at the Table Bay Hotel for 9 days in your room. Couldn't go out your room, stuck in
9
your
days.
room. 9 days.
Yo.
But it was really nice because it's so interesting though. If I had to book at the Table Bay Hotel, and they say, "Do you want mountain view or sea view?" I would go like sea view, of course. But we got mountain view rooms, but mountain view actually means, mountain there, but harbour. So every day I saw dolphins, sunfish, birds. It was unbelievable. So I was just literally like finding stuff. I moved my desks at a sea view, and whenever I had Zoom meetings, I'll turn the other way around. So people thought it was like my selected background picture, but it was real Table Mountain, the harbour. It was beautiful. So we had lots of lectures, and Ryan came to do a talk on his ice swimming, and then we said, okay, we'll have a little challenge, the Ryan Stramrud Ice Swim Challenge in Antarctica. So everybody swam in the end. It was really great fun.
Amazing.
But while we were in the hotel, we tried to do some activities with the youngsters as well to stay active, like Zumba or something, but I found it a bit boring.
You have to do it in your room, like online?
On Zoom. Zumba on Zoom.
No.
And then I decided I'm going to do a 5K run from like door, window, like everybody did in proper lockdown, and it was okay. And then I thought I'll do a 10K run in my room, and it was okay. And then
have you done any of that, Nik?
Half marathon.
You did a half marathon?
Yes, in my room. It took me just short of 2 hours, and the kids all had to do 5K. So in total, we did 51 kilometers, like an ultra marathon in our rooms in the Table Bay Hotel. And then somebody asked me,
how many hours did that take?
No, like
just a normal 7 hours.
No, it was just under 2 hours. So after an hour, I got a bit bored, but then the turtle team came from the aquarium and started dancing and cheering outside down below.
To cheer you on.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
No, that
and
is
I
amazing.
don't like running, and I don't like any group stuff.
What's that thing you do when you're swimming? I could never do this. I was a very poor swimmer.
Me too.
When you get to the end of your...
you have to do the tumble turn.
Did you tumble turn in the room? Or how did you...
Because you run on your toes. No, I like touch the wall, touch the window.
That'd be so cute if you
touch
do
the
a dive
window.
every single time and you fuck your shoulder up
I should
properly.
have tried. But
Do
it
like a
wasn't
Tom
that
Cruise
difficult because it was flat. So that helped a lot. I realized I'm not a good hill runner.
And did you give yourself a big push off the wall every time you had to go? See?
You can't because then you fly through the window. It's too close. No, you do you run little steps.
Oh,
So
my
Finn and
word.
Kai actually tell me when I run in normal life, I
Yeah.
run like I'm still running in the room.
Okay,
Like little
okay.
steps,
So you're
like
going to
a
broaden
little-
your horizons now.
Like a little granny. Yes. But what was nice about it, we
Yes.
need to add the real stuff,
Yeah,
is that some of these young people have never hiked, never run,
yeah.
and they didn't think they'll be able to do 5Ks in there because they had to each do 5Ks. So they were like, whoa, that was a good start to going to Antarctica, to like you can actually do stuff that you don't think you can
In a hotel room.
in a hotel room.
Yeah, but that's not something that Nick or I are desperate to find out. We've seen it all. I know everything.
I feel like he's done a lot more in hotel rooms than I have.
I'm the absolute nerd. The nerd who ran in the hotel room. It was great fun.
I'll definitely not be attempting any of those. Nick and I just confessed to each other now that we've been to gym once since. You haven't been since
I've
February.
been 0 times. You've been once.
I've been once. I went. I just to make sure that they were adhering to the safety protocols.
It's actually a problem for me because I discovered on the weekend, Maryke, I did a breath hold course, a freediving, surfing, breath hold thing.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, in Hot Bay.
With John.
With John.
Yes, I was meant to go, but I was sailing the boat for the
I'm
gig.
so glad you weren't there because because it was deeply embarrassing for me. I ended up being the worst student.
No, I promise you, I would have made you feel good.
You would.
I would have. I promise you, I would have helped
Because
you.
I feel like you've smoked for many years. And smokers do well with
socially.
breath holding.
Really?
Yes,
See, I see that
because
it
of the
would
red
be.
cell, the red cells. But he made us do this thing. He showed us a guy. I think it was what's that wave in? I was gonna say Mexico. Todos Santos. I think
Yes,
it's Todos Santos.
yeah.
And this guy gets like 5 waves on the head, but he's wearing one of those GoPros in the mouth, so you can hear him breathing.
Whoa. Yeah.
So he wanted to show us the recovery breath,
Yeah.
which is the thing, right? And it's absolutely miraculous. But he made us swim a length and a half, and then go underwater, and then just do a no arms kicking. And then do 10 burpees.
Oh, dude.
Right? I was so wrecked. The recovery breath was amazing, but then 30 minutes later was the final breath hold of the day. And he does this thing like you try at the beginning of the day, everyone hold their breath, and the end of the day you're supposed to have like
Improve.
improve.
And you're
So there's
gone.
guys there were farmers from Malmesbury, these Afrikaans guys who like determined, and the guy's like fucking did 3 minutes. I went and he went around. What was your opening breath hold? I did a minute and then I did 3 minutes. Fucking great. I did a minute and a half. I'm up to 2.5 minutes. They get to me. I'm like, yeah, I did 45 seconds the first time. I'm on 50 seconds now. So bad. And he said, Nick, I need to talk to you after.
John.
Yeah. And he said, you might have to speak to your heart doctor because you might have an irregular heartbeat. I was like, no, it's just because I haven't been to gym
After all,
It's just because I haven't been to gym for a year.
all that. That's what you got out of
That's
the
what I
course. You
got.
need to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
John McCarthy, legend, big shout out. I love him. He's such a saint.
He's
But
amazing.
you're not allowed to say that to the people who come on the course. You can't
You
tell them
freaked
that.
out.
No, I think he was worried about me.
Then I'm so glad that I didn't go. Bro. I promise you, first of all, I would have made you feel amazing, but you and I would have
God, I
both been in
wish you'd been
ICU at the
there.
moment with the psycho issues, thinking that we're dying. Oh my God.
Oh, Nick and Nik.
Annabelle Jones has a question. She has questions. Okay, no, I don't blame me at all. By the way, just very quickly, I'm going to copy a link. If you feel like it, you can phone in and you can talk to us, believe it or not.
That's so cool. How do they do that?
So what they do is they have to copy the link that's in this, and then you paste it into a Safari browser on your phone or on a Chrome browser on your PC, and it's very, very easy. So just copy this link that's in the comments now, and then you can call in, and I'll have you and you can ask us any question or be part of the interview, and we'll interview you. So give it a go. Come on, people. Let's be wild. Let's in this crazy world, and I'll put the speakers on so we can hear. Could be fun. Anyway, and also if you are watching, thanks to those of you tuning in at this off time of day. Just help me. Just
Who's there? Who's watching?
Can
Can you see?
We've got like people. There's numbers. They're numbers.
More than
They
3?
are the numerical ones, and twos. But
That's why Nick's wearing a onesie for
There-
that
it's
one.
for the-
It's Jack is on. Is Jack still on?
Jacket, I don't know. Yeah.
So to add quickly to the breath.
But hold on. I want people to share. If you're listening
Oh.
to this, just click share right now. I was going to ask Nick, but Nick,
Is it on Facebook?
It's on Facebook.
I can't get onto Facebook.
How do we
You
do
don't
it?
know your.
I'll have
You
to
don't
get
know your. You can
instructions.
get on my interview. Did you not? Have you not shared this on the aquarium thing yet?
I put it on the whatever.
Ah,
the stories.
Maryke, damn it all.
But how do I don't know it's live now. I can click
Guys,
on
you
it.
can't
I can
be-
watch us.
You can't be on your phones in the middle.
Talking about visfokkerij on the aquarium
Have you on the aquarium one?
Facebook page.
But then share it. Give me the phone. Give it to me
Wait.
while Karen talking about the breath holding turtles.
Yeah, so you were going to talk to me about breath holding, Maryke.
What I
Dude,
wanted to tell
That's an
you-
amazing story. I can't believe that we almost
So
crossed
breath
paths.
holding turtles can hold their breath for very long.
Yeah.
So usually, like on average in the day, like 15 to 30 minutes, they'll come up for a little breath. But if they sleep, like between 4 and 7 hours.
What do you mean?
So
If they're
keep
sleeping
training.
underwater?
Yeah.
Do they sleep underwater?
Yeah.
How do they just...
How do they sleep out of water?
I don't know.
they live in the
they live in the
ocean.
water.
Near, fuck. Near. Oh, you see now.
Swipe it out.
It's not bad. Oh, check. It's not.
How
no,
long
because-
are you a breath
Yeah.
holder?
No, I could, but I haven't in ages, so I'll have to work
What
on
did you
it.
get up to? I mean,
So when we had to do commercial dive courses
yeah.
with Paul Hannekom still back in the day at UCT, like 25, 26 years ago. And then you have to do a pool test. And I'm trying to remember what we had to do, but it was literally you've got to do a whole length underwater. You've got to tread water for a minute with weights. Then you've got to hold your breath for a minute. And so it was tough. And then he said to us, well, just practice. And I managed on my practice run. And I said, please just tick the box because I don't think I'll be able to do it again. But what I figured out how much it takes your head
Jeez,
to really do
it's
it.
totally there, especially when you start feeling the
The
build
pulp-
up of the
Yeah.
carbon dioxide.
What's it called when you get your first reflex, and then there's different
Contractions.
stages
Yeah.
of your convulsions that you have to be cool
So
with.
what I figured out is we trained in the dive pool in Newlands, and when people jump off the dive boards, they lose money out of their pockets. So every day I was just holding my breath looking for money. And I found, this is yonks ago, I probably made like $30-40, but
Amazing.
that motivated me to hold my breath for bloody long.
Where was this? At the Sea Point pool.
At the Newlands pool,
Ah.
actually.
Why do people dive with money in their pants? Don't they realize that? That's
It
You know what
was-
it could
it helped
be?
me.
Because I was talking to our housekeeper Nosipa this morning, and she has twins. And there's a superstition with Xhosa people that if you've had twins, you're not allowed to go to the sea. And if you do, you have to throw money in the sea. So I'm thinking, I'll ask her when I get home, but maybe she had been going to Newlands pool. and threw
because you
money
couldn't go to
in,
the sea.
so she was allowed to swim.
I don't know about that one.
Why should I
no,
go to the
man,
sea if you've had twins?
It's a superstitious thing. Also, graveyards. Not allowed in a graveyard.
If you've had twins.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 100%.
And also this morning she told me, because her one twin is sick at the moment,
Okay.
and she said she shouted at him last night and he's not better today. And I said, what do you mean? Like,
Shouting is supposed to drive the evil vibes.
no,
out.
if you have twins, you can't be like gentle with them when they're sick. You have to shout and swear at them and tell them you're going to dig a grave for them tomorrow and throw them in if they don't get better.
Only for twins.
Only for twins.
Scare factor. Who knows? Who knows? If that, I would try and hide my symptoms if I was being threatened with
Yeah, your
death.
twin.
I'd just be like,
All good.
nothing. I'm totally fine this side as I shit my pants.
It's very interesting. No, but in those days, people used to go to Newlands pool for fun and then bouncy off the
Full
high
of change.
boards.
All these
So it's people
twinsing
with big
parents.
shorts. I don't know about the twins, but
Yeah, no,
just
listen,
random
you never know.
Did
civilians.
you do your recovery breath when you came up? Were you like...
No, I never did.
Yeah. What's it called? The fish hook.
I love the way he's also like, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're just going to black out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine.
Blackout.
As long as you're going to make.
Mammalian
You're gonna
reflex.
hyperventilate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just touch, blow, talk.
Touch, blow, talk. That
Yeah,
sounds like a
touch, blow,
scrum.
talk.
Touch, blow, talk.
super
Okay.
excited.
Talk us through that.
Hi, Maryke. Talk to me, Maryke.
Touch, blow, talk. Is that the thing? Okay.
Touch, blow, talk.
It sounds like a rugby, like a scrum drill, that it could turn into that. Like crouch, hold, engage,
So freediving, I was completely fixated by the Big Blue when I think that's why I actually
Who was that?
went
Who
to
was
Ocean
that
Science.
actor? What is his name? Like, what a
Jean
legend.
Bokbar, I was in love with him until
Yeah.
I saw recent pictures like, oh my God, rewind. So he played Jacques Mayol, of course. Oh my goodness, it was like I watched it a million times.
Yeah.
And then remember there's a scene with Enzo, the Italian,
Yes.
preparing for his dive.
Yes.
And doing
I actually missed
proper-
this scene because Karen Udelman put her hand on my thigh and the blood rushed up and I blacked out.
Screw you, Karen. Yeah, well, but thank you, Karen.
Oh, my favorite part of the movie was that Jacques Mayol chose the dolphins and not Roseanne Barr plays the chick because she just annoyed me endlessly. But maybe it's because I was so in love with him. And there's the long version. It's about 3 hours long. So the one that we know, the commercial one's
Is there like an editor's cut, like a long one?
So no, they just had, but the long story's got a lot more like dolphin stuff in, and how his passion for the ocean and how he literally leaves the girl to go and be with the dolphins. And I don't know why, I love Jacques Mayol even more. But the actual story about Jacques Mayol is very interesting and actually quite serious. So he was known as the Dolphin Man. I've actually got a book about him. A beautiful story. But yeah, the Big Blue is where it all started, I reckon.
Where were you born?
In Pretoria.
So where did you
It's
develop
not a city.
your fascination with marine?
Well, thank you to the Big Blue. No, I'm like,
yeah, why not?
No, that helped. No, we used to go down for beach holidays.
Yeah.
So I've got a picture. I think I was like 7 or 8 months old, where my mom left me like in a little rock pool.
Yeah.
And I probably for the day,
Yeah.
I was happy.
Yeah.
So we used to go once a year down to the coast, and my dad loved fishing. And it taught me to fish. So actually, I always say it's quite interesting that my passion for the ocean started with a consumptive, like fishing.
Action, yeah.
But I think that's how many people connect. And I was so proud when I caught my first fish without my dad. And it was in Kaimouth on the Kai River.
Yeah.
And I caught this little river bream.
We played there, yeah.
And it was a hell of a windy day. And I decided I'm going to walk, because you can walk. If you know Kaimouth, if you've been there.
Oh, but we've never really in very sober state. Usually at night.
But there's like
I
a
didn't
forest
do a lot of
path,
walking and trails.
and there's a beach path, and I decided that I'm going to walk along the beach because I want to show everybody my fish that I caught alone. I was
Yes.
probably 4.5 or 5, and it was so windy, I got so sandblasted. And then when I got to the house where our friends stayed, they weren't there, of course. And I remember my eyes were so caked with sand I could barely see. But yeah, that was my first little fish. So I was very lucky.
A little bream.
Yeah.
Lekker man.
That my parents took us down to the coast, and then I just love the ocean, and thanks to Big Blue for inspiring me. And
Yeah.
Then and so my dad was cool because he went to like Hong Kong or somewhere when we were in high school, and he brought me a CD Walkman. Okay, so before there were CDs in South Africa, so it was this big thing.
Yeah.
And whale and dolphin sound CDs, and I literally listened to this.
Whale and dolphin sounds, that's it.
Yes.
Was it a greatest hits?
It was.
That's amazing.
I listened to it, and I played it at night, and at goldfish, I played it to the goldfish. So I always give my parents credit for not institutionalizing me at some point or another.
Yes.
And going like, oh, we'll just buy another dolphin CD, and then life is good.
How cute was that? But there's always that kid at school whose parents went to Hong Kong, came back with the coolest gift. I was like, my mom hasn't been to Margate
So
before.
wait, my dad, he didn't travel that much, but he brought me the Dolphin CDs and Pink Floyd The Wall.
Okay.
Which was like also super
Well
cool.
done,
And
Dad.
I'm convinced it was like probably banned in South Africa at the time. So my friends and I decided we're going to do the stint, because I went to the art school actually.
Okay.
Not
What's
a
in it?
normal. The School for Art, Ballet, Music and Drama, which was in Pretoria on the Boys' High
So
School
when
grounds.
did you get to the coast? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, the day after, the day that I finished my
Art school.
last matric exam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you came
And then
down.
I came down to Cape Town to study. So we did this intervention, the show thing. They had like a Miss Spring or some random contest at school. And then we dressed up. In those days, the boys had to do, you had to dress up in like army clothes once a week.
Cadets.
Cadets.
Yeah.
So we got the boys' cadets clothes. And we played We Don't Need No Education.
But you already knew it.
No, education is very important.
No, but I'm saying you already knew the music.
Oh, yeah,
Because you had your dad.
No, I understand,
No,
yeah.
education is everything. Good gracious Lord. I'm quoting a song. Okay.
No, 100% knew it because my dad brought it from Hong Kong.
Yes.
So we played it loud in the hall during Miss Spring contest down the ramp, and the kids went mad. That's the day I realized how powerful a human can be to like create this cult vibe. And everybody in the hall started shouting, "We don't need no education." It was like, oops, no, that's not really what we aim for today.
Apartheid education at the time.
But my school was cool because we were fully
Oh, you were at
integrated.
the art school.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, we were. So I was lucky. I didn't experience that. Well, not in high school and in junior school. We were too little to actually realize there's a.
Were you one of the only straight people there?
No, I'm like thinking it through. Yeah.
Were you
know what
straight
was
while you were
really
there?
nice? Yeah, full on. Yes, I am. I was very normal.
She really
actually.
thought that through.
I don't want to offend any friends. What was really nice about that school, it was a mixed bag of individuals. You were allowed to be an individual.
Yes.
I liked that a lot. We had a lot of freedom. So I used to paddle like crazy. I wanted actually to be a dolphin/paddler.
Mermaid. And not a mermaid.
I don't know why I don't want to be a mermaid.
Did you never go through a mermaid phase?
No. I somehow missed. I didn't do
A
the
straight
Barbie/mermaid phase. No, a dolphin. I wanted to be a dolphin.
Okay.
I was determined. I wanted to be a dolphin one day.
Okay. Cool.
So, but the kids at school, you specialize in whether it's art or ballet or drama or music, and everybody's got, you can tell from a mile away, music kid or art kid. And it was really nice to experience that. And it was a small school, so you could never team up and be like the bully group, or you had to be friends with everybody, otherwise you end up being alone.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that I had that experience. We didn't have sports, so I paddled. And the school was very supportive because I was like the only sporty kid in the entire school.
How do you paddle it?
A kayak or what?
A K1, like a canoe.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
And did you do that like in the school pool, like as if you were running in a hotel room?
So the school didn't have a pool. Okay, we didn't even have a pool.
So where'd you paddle?
We had a swimming gala once
The
a year.
Henops River.
No, at the Tuckies Dam, at the Elsie de Villiers Dam, where literally it's like a hotel room. You go round and round and round. You can get dizzy. Or Ridderplaat Dam, which is big. That's very big.
Okay.
They were amazing paddlers in those days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Oscar Chalupsky and his dog.
Yeah, Oscar.
Was Oscar Chilipsky from there?
No, from
gonna say.
Natal, but they used to come up for camp. So I was still at school, but I adopted all these older paddling brothers, which was amazing, and they looked after me because I was the only girl paddling at
We
the
just
time.
do a quick PSA while we're talking about this, after talking about Oscar, who's a dear friend of mine and a legend in the world.
He is a legend.
Absolute legend. So, just quickly,
But there's
kids.
a but.
There is a but. But he didn't use enough sunscreen. He's getting stuff cut all out of himself, and my heart goes out to him, and best wishes and strength. And he's going to be fine because he's a hero. But kids, you remember that old song, Wear Sunscreen? Seriously, so if you're going to be out in the ocean, I know it's like it's just lie out, and when you get to the sun, it's kiff. But Oscar's our hero, and he probably once or twice only didn't put sunscreen on, and he's cracking
Yeah,
up. So
absolutely.
I thought I had the need to
Yeah,
let
no,
people,
you're
remind
right.
people
That
you can
whole
never.
generation. I mean, we
Can
were
never
out
remind
in the
people
sun
enough to
all
wear
the time.
sunscreen.
Yeah, wear sunscreen.
Weird. I forget all the time. But anyway, yeah.
But Oscar's awesome. So that whole
Yeah, yeah.
generation of
No,
paddlers were
best.
amazing, and they were the first. They went to the Olympic Games. I think 1992 is when we were allowed back in the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I used to see Oscar a lot, but I was like the little kid at the back,
Yeah.
following all these amazing paddlers around.
Yeah, he's
So the
incredible.
school was very supportive. So I could literally like, I don't feel like maths today. Like, oh, I'm going paddling, and they would go like, oh, amazing, okay, bye. So we had loads of freedom. And we would go to the principal and say, like, we need to do research on whatever, this play that we're going to do. So we need to go to the university library. And he's like, no problem. And then we'll go to Hatfield and buy ice creams. And then one day we bumped into a teacher. So we got a fright, like, ugh. And the teacher was like, don't tell anybody you saw me here. Because she also bunked. And we're like, no problem.
Good, yeah.
We just on a little drama project. So it was a nice school environment with freedom to be who you are.
Yes.
So it was super cool. And there are kids who did phenomenally well worldwide, in the arts.
Right. And then you chose to just go into marine.
But I knew I was going to do that. So school was sort of like the decision was made is if I have to go to school, then I want to have fun.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's the same with work. If I have to work, which I have to work, then I want to have fun.
Yes.
So find the fun stuff every day and whatever you do.
So are you gonna have? Do you think you're gonna have some fun in your first Forkere place?
If you say it like that.
I don't know what else to call it now. You
so
planted such a
excited
seed. It's like it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Fish hatchery,
no,
whatever.
I have fun when I work
Let's
really hard.
talk to us about that because I'm sorry. We started with Seaspiracy. Seaspiracy said two
Yes.
things which I didn't agree with. Actually, a few things. And I really don't like these super biased things. I'm so glad that they bring it to the forefront. I think it's vital that we know all this stuff. But you get the heavy vegan movies, and you get the heavy carnivore movies, and you get the heavy Seaspiracy and the heavy Cowspiracy. I get it all. I dig it. But the one thing they said was don't eat fish. Cheers, don't eat fish. Bye. Ooh, end of the show. I was like, hang on, guys, give us some other solutions about it. So
yes.
and that one then they also really came down pretty heavy on the other fish forkeros around the world because it was very bad and eating fish. It was eating more in order to have a sustainable fish farm.
Yeah.
They have to eat more fish. So how is yours different?
So aquacultural industry is completely different.
Okay.
You can't farm fish like that because then you're just going to lose money,
Okay.
number one.
Yeah.
So there's been quite a few movies, and there's another movie called Artificials, and I think they use the same footage, which
Okay.
is like dead against aquaculture. In fact, if you Google aquaculture, the first thing is going to pop up is going to say, don't eat fish or why you shouldn't eat farmed fish.
Do you want me to be putting it in aquaculture?
Let's see, what does it say?
Aquaculture
And it's going to be just like negative stuff.
is the controlled process of cultivating aquatic
No, not the definition.
Oh,
like the what kind of...
What is aqua and why do we need it?
Oh, okay, well,
Okay,
my
three.
Google works differently, but generally it's like...
Okay.
It's because you're wearing the sea queen hat.
It's
that
only
you're
taking
getting
the positive part of it.
vibes.
Okay, I've
that's
got
so
it.
good to hear.
Okay.
But to be able to feed the world, we have to find alternatives.
Yes.
And what Seaspiracy sort of missed, and that to me is really important. So
Yes.
even though I love turtles and I love my little turtle here, I love humans, a lot actually, and people are really important. So to be able to save the planet or make a difference, you have to work with people and for people.
Yes.
So the social impact of just saying don't eat fish is insane because
Yes.
there's so many coastal communities
Yeah.
who don't have a choice, number one,
I think they did say that, to be fair. I think they did.
well, that's it then.
Yeah.
Well done.
Did they
That's
say?
good.
Did they say?
Yeah,
don't
there's
eat-
people whose livelihood and diet, that's it for them. They can't afford to.
Yeah.
To
I think
not-
it's almost like meat. Don't eat the farm produced. I mean the meat factory produced stuff and like all this. The mass-produced stuff, but is that what they're saying?
No, so I think you need to be aware, obviously, of make sustainable choices. But just to come back to fish farming,
Yeah.
there are not enough fish left in the ocean.
Yes.
So yes, we have consumed too much over the years, and therefore there must be an alternative.
Yes.
And there's really responsible aquaculture,
Yeah.
which we should support. And
Yeah.
then, of course, there's irresponsible stuff as well. But it's becoming more and more difficult to not farm really responsibly.
Yeah.
And if your fish aren't really healthy, I mean, the images they showed of that 6 salmon,
the
it's
grey
like,
one, yeah.
you cannot have that on a farm because it's just money gone. I mean,
Yeah.
I left aquaculture about 5-6 years ago because it's so money driven, and
Right.
every fish mortality actually converted to a rand value
Yeah.
because it's not easy to make money on it.
Yeah.
And you put so much effort into making sure you create an environment where these fish are going to be so happy. So you need to have happy fish, happy staff, happy environment, use as little energy as possible because it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you feed fish, you use so little fish meal because it's really expensive. So you need to look for alternative sources.
Yeah.
So generally on a good fish farm, you're going to use about 1.2 kilos of fish food to feed a fish. But the fish food's not fish. It's like dog food's not dog, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pellets. It's formulated feed.
Okay.
So we used byproducts in, like, for instance, in the sunflower oil industry, have this sunflower oil cake that they've got no use for. So I worked with a CSR and we extracted oils from that and started putting that into the fish food.
Yeah.
So ultimately the fish food actually smelled like all bran flakes. It was really weird.
Okay.
But in a
And is that sustainable? Does it
that
give
was
them a lot of nutrition and it's not too much waste? And
so we measure all of that. So it's very scientific.
Okay.
And reason being, you want the best products because you're not going to sell your fish. Nobody's going to eat it if it's not really
looking good,
really good quality. So throughout the processing plant, throughout the harvest, I mean, that was like really challenging to figure out how are you going to harvest the fish to not stress it out, because if the fish is stressed, it like pulls all its muscles tight and then apparently doesn't taste nice. So I never ate fish.
The same as the Kobe beef trawl as well.
Exactly. So it's basically the same thing. So you can be very responsible.
So how would you play them like the circle of life and then what do you
is it just before you just lull them into a false sense of safety?
So
you get them to overdose on sunflower oil?
No, you give them what is it? It's a clove oil actually. It's like a natural anesthetic.
Yeah, it wasn't far off.
Yeah.
Not bad, bro. Okay.
And
then what's the final stages?
Well, you can if they
just take them out the water or what?
No, so generally you've got to render them unconscious as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So what they used to do on the old farms, especially actually in the UK, is put them on like a conveyor belt kind of a system and like basically punch them in the face, I suppose is horrible, but knock them over the head or pit them. So you basically put a needle straight through the brain.
Yeah.
But that whole process is stressful. So we said, we're not going to do that because to line up every fish and
because they can sense that they're on a conveyor belt of death.
Yeah, or you give them a shock as well, but then also the muscles contract. So generally you're going to sedate them so they get a little bit sleepy.
And you reckon clove oil does that for a fish?
No, it does it really well actually.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And but there are different things you can use, but also you want to actually grow organic fish, which is really important. So you look at the feed. We worked with like kosher, rabbi to make sure the fish are actually.
Where in Cape Town?
No, it was in the Eastern
God,
Cape.
it's probably the same guy circumcised my kids.
But fish is actually kosher in itself because
it is.
Yeah, but we had to make sure that
Can't feed them bacon in the.
No, but our processing plant
the
staff
brand.
weren't allowed to have their bologna sandwiches near the processing room, so it was very specific, and halal as well.
Okay.
But it was interesting with halal. I love how. As long as something's not really gross and gruesome, it's okay. So fish also are naturally halal. But we had to make sure that the fish food didn't contain feather meal, so chicken meal, which a lot of fish food would, or blood meal or bone meal. So we had to make sure that the feed to the fish is actually also kosher and halal.
Right.
Which was really a really amazing process to go through. So the big picture of fish farming, it's big.
Yeah.
It's not just like, you feed 12 kilos and get 1 kilo. It's not real.
Yeah.
So Seaspiracy is a really important film because it creates so much awareness around we've got to look after the ocean.
I love it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but it was just a lot of inaccuracies.
Yeah.
And I think the worst part for me is shifting the focus purely on don't eat fish and saying the plastic's not the problem. Yeah. Because we'll never I don't eat fish, so I can't say like, I don't have to worry about the ocean because I don't eat fish. Yeah. A call to action is so easy to say, use that water bottle you've got, or reduce your plastic use. Yeah. And that saves little turtles like Nik the turtle.
Nik wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for all our activism.
Yeah, no, that's great. And also if I can just warn people about DNA testing and the impact on my community. Maryke has brought this to my attention, but Art, you might be interested in where do I come from and what?
Yes, actually, yes. I have Jewish lineage, by the way, which I only found out a few years ago.
Yeah, from the DNA test.
No, but just because my grandmother's Jewish.
But your cousins then. That's awesome.
We could be.
Where did she say your people were from?
I forgot. She passed on a little bit, but I'm very sure Mom took a note.
Please.
I will ask her.
I want to find out.
But she was K Carr. So Carr is a Jewish surname, isn't it?
Carr? C-A-R-R.
Yes.
I don't know. We had a Dave Carr at Westerwood High School who was quite passive-aggressive in assembly because the headmaster was a Baptist and he made all the teachers do a devotion, and Dave would always just keep his down to 5 seconds. He'd say, "Dear God, please help us, amen." And then stare at passive-aggressively at the headmaster.
Carr is of mixed Iraqi Jewish and Ashkenazi Jewish heritage.
Oh, wow. Maybe that's why he was doing that.
Bro, now you know. I mean, you see all the things. Look, the Jewish gene. I am an original Carr.
An original.
I want to know where you're going to speak to your mom and find
I'm gonna
out
have to
which
speak to
village
Mum.
in Lithuania are you from.
Yes. I've done none of that, bro. I haven't done the research. And I went to therapy once in my life. It was so funny. I was super hungover. And I went, and Josie actually bought me a session for therapy. Yeah, it was so funny. It's like, I bought you a session at therapy. I'm like,
Why?
What's wrong with me?
I'm actually kind of okay, but she was like, you need to go for therapy. I'm like, thank you, Josie Brain. Love you. Always. So I went in and I was hungover. And I sat on the couch because I was all bloodshot. And I was like sitting with my arms and this chick just scowled at me. She goes, for like 10 minutes, I was like, shit, I'm isn't this supposed to be the most non-judgmental place on earth? Should I not be able to come in here and you should just
Was this Freudian, because they're not allowed to talk.
Where?
Freudian therapy.
No, it was an actual...
Maybe she was waiting for you.
Maybe. I don't know, but I said and at the end of it, every time I moved my arm, she's like, oh, that's your dad's side. My dad had passed a long time ago. I was like, oh, this is the fucking worst thing I've ever been to in my life. I don't feel like being judged. I just feel like hanging with
But
my
was
children
it therapy
drinking a
or
Bloody
was it
Mary and asking what happened last night.
Linking
No,
up
not
with
touching
dead people.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It was like a couch session
a
where she's gonna go, okay, well, let's
psychologist.
dig into why anything, which I didn't even know any.
You
That's my problem with
your
theory.
problem is you don't know your problems.
No, my problem with theory is that therapy is they sit down and you say 2 sentences ago, that's your problem. You need to come here for the next 8 months in a row. So she did that to me, and I'm getting back to our point about lineage.
I want to know what your problem was.
My problem is, she said, is that I
yes.
hadn't spent enough time finding out about my dad and all his brothers and what they'd done. And then she told me I have to go and collect a rock to symbolize each one of them, and I need to walk on the beach and I need to put them down.
Your ancestors were talking to you, bro.
Yeah, it was round about then that I decided to pass out with boredom, and I was like, "Fuck, are you joking? I've got to collect a rock for each one of my father and his." That's it. Maybe there's some truth to it. Who knows? Maybe this is a bit of a more nurturing turnaround of that event.
I've got to add to this. So remember, Nik phoned me one night, and he's like, "Oh, you're so nice, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Oh, where's this going?" And then "Why are you single?" And I started getting worried, and then luckily I heard something in the background, what's going on then? He's like, oh no, it's Debbie. And I was like, oh, thank God. And then it's like, no, you had a problem with me being single. So I said, okay, cool. Wait.
I didn't have a problem.
No, you said, what was the thing we had to go to?
You started a problem. She went to therapy because of that.
No, I didn't go to
so
therapy.
Awesome. How come you're not?
No, the plan was. So I
What's
said to
going
Nik,
on?
okay, no, my answer is it's by choice because I'm actually just too busy. And then I said, but if you want to start a Tinder account thing, which I've never seen, I don't even know what
Let's
it looks
start it
like.
right now on the show.
No, we're not going to start right now. Then it's cool, but I have lots of filters, okay? So lots and lots of filters. Do you remember this conversation?
Yeah.
Filter in your personality or on your phone?
No.
I'm asking.
If I had to put a Tinder account in what I'm going to like, okay, so we
Oh,
start.
for in a man.
Yeah. So it was
Okay.
a long thing about, what did we start with? You had to be caring and kind, all the
Good
the
luck
normal
with that.
stuff, and then have to be healthy and wealthy, and the other day I found another one. I can't remember what it was, but most importantly, only want to see the
Does
person.
not eat fish.
No, it's okay. They can eat fish,
Exactly.
but I only want to see them twice a month because I like my bubble.
You'd be surprised how many takers you might have for that. Yeah. Guys are really appreciating
So
that
if they
kind.
live in Antarctica or Iceland, it just pop through twice a month, then that's perfect. But then the plan was we did go somewhere to figure out maybe there's a reason why I choose not to look for somebody, but I didn't find the answer.
Okay, interesting. And you still not seeing anyone as such?
Not enough time.
I totally. There's no judgment. I was just asking. And I agree with Nick. You're a wonderful woman. You should have men flocking all over you, and you should stick to your criteria. You make sure that you stick to that.
Gonna stick to
Don't
my
you settle
filters,
for anything
but
less than that.
I might
And they
be
can't use what are those things you clean your ear with?
The earbuds.
No
Can't use those.
Oh shit! I use earbuds all the time, but the wooden ones, obviously. I use it every day of my life. Every time I get out of the bath.
I've got an ear thing.
You're killing the turtles off.
I'm not. They're the wooden ones, biodegradable.
Even those ones are problematic.
No.
Am I right, Maryke?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Don't
they
clean
are.
your
They don't
ears.
even clean
Don't
properly.
clean
They're
your
so
ears.
inflexible.
Oh, flip, no. Okay, next topic.
No ways. Let's carry on with the
No, we were
earbuds.
talking about therapy.
Lineage,
So
yes.
Nick was my therapist. That's all I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Was that it?
Was that your session?
You were even trained. You studied it. You like industrial psychologist
What?
or something.
Did you quit? That's interesting.
Yeah, I've been coaching for years.
Oh, seriously? And still to this day?
I mean, I do it like very rarely.
Oh, please don't
Just
think
for friends.
it was not coaching. Coaching sounds like...
What would you call it? Practicing.
Practicing.
I don't know what you call it.
No, you do
So-
coaching, but
So
I
could
think
I come to you? We could go through the
counselor.
lineage thing, and could I feel less judgy? I'll try not to be.
No, because I've sort of gamified my family tree.
Okay.
And I get every a couple of years or every few months even, I get obsessed with finding new things about my lineage.
I would love to know anything about.
I'll tell you what, if you're interested, what I discovered recently.
Bro, I'm super interested.
I discovered that I have an Afrikaans woman from Texas emailed me to say, we had to leave because, the country's in shambles. And we're praying for God to save South Africa. This was before that whole fuck up in Texas. Obviously now we're praying for them to save Texas.
Yes, correct.
And she was like, my Oma, Johanna Christiana Magdalena van Sailfurie Rabinowitz. En jou oupa Grootjie se neef Solomon. Hulle het genaai in Springbok.
Hulle het genaai in
Makes
Springbok.
us fourth cousins twice.
Oh my God!
Can we come for Hanukkah? And I met so my grandfather lived with his cousin in Steinkopf, which is up in the Namakoland.
Yeah.
At the time that his cousin hooked up with an Afrikaans woman and
Yes.
had 2 daughters, and then later abandoned them.
Hey, naughty.
And so I met with that guy's grandson. So my grandfather and his grandfather were the cousins.
Okay.
And this guy's a farmer from Potch. Doesn't speak a word of English. We met in Darling. I decided to meet at Peter Dirk Ace's place because he's half Jewish, half Afrikaans.
Okay.
And he walked in there and they sat at the table next to me, and then I went over and introduced myself, and then he was like, "Ons gedink jy sou oomie wees."
Was that the intro?
Yeah, it was intro. And then we had this great, 2 hours together talking about and trying to find things out, and it's fascinating. I find it fascinating. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you?"
I do. I'm very late on. Is there a cutoff time as to when you're allowed to be interested in your
No, I don't think so.
Because I would definitely dig to know. Because yeah, I mean, I don't.
I discovered Muslim relatives in Cape Town 2 years ago.
Amazing.
They
And
gave their dad a DNA test. It came back 50% Jewish.
no way.
His dad wasn't who he thought his dad was.
Isn't it starting to fuck with a few things now as well? Like
And then his closest match was me
and,
on the DNA website.
and how do you feel about
On
that?
the DNA website.
I think he felt a little bit weird about it.
Yeah.
I felt great. I was like, "Here's a whole show,"
That's a whole bit right there.
but I can't because they're very concerned. His sisters will find out, and it's all.
And then it'll be a story. Okay, then. Okay, but bro, I'd love you to guide me on to how to. I've done a DNA test. I did something, but it was for my health. Came back and it just, you get those dials. Everything's a green and.
Art, we found you undermethylated, very high cholesterol.
Dude, it was like
And,
John at the end of your course. He's like, bro,
was
you
it all of those things?
should go and see some help if you.
There's a problem with your liver function.
Yeah.
I know what that's about.
Yeah, dude. I've done that. So there's a laboratory in Joburg who's got my
It was
DNA.
Geneway or something like that.
Yes.
I did the same thing.
One of the gene names. It might not have been them. But if it's at a lab, surely can't we just use that?
Did you get Dr. Krista from Centurion?
No.
Did she phone you?
No, I didn't get no, it was another gene company that I got off one of my groups on WhatsApp.
That's so funny.
I mean, that's what we live on now. We have groups. Like, are you on the SMUTB group? Have you heard of it?
Thank God, no.
Okay. It's not smut as such. It's called SMUTB. But there's a lot of groups in there, and you just, I mean, I get some kiff memes every now and then, which I don't mind, but they are usually very annoying.
But I want to know, how do you use your DNA analysis information stuff? Did you act on it?
No, I didn't.
I did.
No, you did, but for lineage, which is
No, for
fantastic. For health as well.
For health as well. I did a separate one for health.
Okay, then I should.
Found out I was undermethylated, which meant low in vitamin B12 or whatever. Started going for vitamin
I
B
thought
shots.
that means run out of meth.
No, it means undermethylated is when you have
I was
like
hoping for that.
half a loaf of bread but 2 liters of meth. Or the other way around. I can't remember.
Exactly.
Anyway, I wasn't in high spirits. For ages.
You were a loafer.
For ages.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. So undermethylated means that you have no vitamin B in something.
Well, that was one of the things. So I sorted that out.
We don't have long.
And
We don't
then
have
the
bandwidth.
the liver function was that was an interesting one. The high cholesterol I knew about already because I had heart disease in the family.
Okay.
But now it's interesting because I'm doing this project. We're not doing it yet, but a friend of mine's at Oxford University, genius, and he's got a whole team putting together the latest science around diet, which, by the way, is plant-based. Is like,
Is that where it's at?
that's where it's at.
Okay.
And that's how to sort out my cholesterol and various other issues at the same time. Apparently. I'm struggling. I'm addicted to meat.
To me.
Difficult to let it go.
Okay, hold on. One second. Storm, I just want to answer a very quick question and then I want to
Yeah.
get back because I actually have a comment about it. I'm so glad
The
we all have
meat- the
opinions.
meat
It's so
talk.
cute. Storm, sorry, there's a new thing that's happened now that I've been doing this stuff. It's called, you can become a supporter of mine. I think it's 79 Rand a month. Thank you to those who've already started doing that. But just to answer your question, I think I get like 99% of it. So don't worry, Facebook aren't stealing stuff. It's actually the best way to support these things. I'm on these weird stars and stuff like that. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting you guys on a separate little group. And then we have our own little bubble, and we'll be doing streams, and we'll be jamming guitar and talking about cuck. And there's a couple of other benefits I haven't exactly figured out yet, but that's very kind of you to be looking at subscription stuff. It's all the new age thing that we're living in, bro. That's where it's at. So there's the answer to you, Stormy. I
new
get all
normal. It's he's pivoted. It's unprecedented times. My fellow South Africans.
See how much you love all the unprecedented times. Oh my God, the pivot is pivoting. But now hold on. Why can't we eat meat? Sorry.
Oh no, I want to tell you a good
From
story.
a medical point of view, I'm not the right person to
A
answer.
medical
that.
point of view.
Carry on.
Okay.
I think a balanced lifestyle is best coming from the person who doesn't eat meat. But
Okay.
I don't tell people not to eat meat.
Yes, but extremism of any form is not ideal.
No, of
Okay.
course not. But
Okay.
I 2 years ago I decided I wanted to watch a documentary.
Yes.
So I scroll through Netflix and there's a thing and it's called What the Health and
Yes.
it's got a handful of pills and I was like, oh, it means I don't have to cook. I can just space
Yeah, but that was
food.
just a poster.
Yeah, but it wasn't what the movie was about at all.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
so I got conned. So I watched the movie, but it was really interesting, and it was actually very balanced. But they did show extreme cases of why being a vegetarian is healthy and stay away from blah 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 meat and whatever else. But it's because of the way it's processed. So what I
Right.
learned, which was really interesting, which luckily doesn't all of it apply to Jewish people because you don't eat pork, but the abattoir, there are more people eating meat now than
Yeah.
before. So even though it's really fashionable to be a vegan, so the abattoirs and the butcheries are under a lot of pressure. And this is now in the States.
Yes.
Okay, so the movie was made there. So the quality control check for a like a carcass of a cow carcass
Yeah.
is like 8 seconds. So in 8 seconds, this health check person, inspector, must make sure that it's healthy,
Yeah.
which is too short. So what happens is you get people are getting heart attacks not because they've got high cholesterol, but from inflammation
Yes.
because there's bacteria contamination.
Right.
And then they bounce across to the piggy farm, and which obviously pigs live in like really tight
Yeah.
sort of spaces,
Yeah.
and the pig carcasses into the piggy abattoir. Oh my
yeah.
God. So in any case, when they open them up, they're full of abscesses.
Ooh.
So then I decided, and I didn't eat meat, so it didn't
Anyway.
impact me, but I used to stop here in Hot Bay at Seattle with Josie every morning for
Yeah,
a cappuccino.
yeah.
I was like, so the next day I was like, I'm just having espressos from now on. And Josie was like, what the
Oh,
heck,
because
what's
it
going on?
affected the milk as well.
No.
What?
Pork pus, man. It's
What?
a great...
No, stop it.
Oh.
So Josie was also
Stop
like,
it.
what?
Okay, guys, that's the end of this
It's like,
broadcast. Thank you so
God.
much. It's been amazing. We've got to end this.
Can't
What
do
pork
it.
pies now? No,
No,
don't say that now.
No, there's nothing to do with milk. You can have your milk. I don't think milk is
You're
healthy.
confusing us.
But
Why?
I
Where's the
decided
pork pus coming in
no
Seattle?
more animal product. And
Oh.
I can't blame the cows. I can't blame anything other than the flippin' pork abattoir piggy abscess.
So that put you off meat. Let's just.
I don't
quickly-
eat meat. So
Okay.
the only thing
She
it
was
would put
already
me
off meat.
Yeah.
You already.
It put her off
Put
with
me off
lattes.
cappuccinos.
How did it put you? Oh, because the latte, the cappuccinos
No,
reminded you
it
of
was
pork
literally
pus.
just like no animal product.
Okay.
Simple.
So you actually vegan?
I'm vegan, but I do quite like
Fish.
Woolworths chuckles. No, I don't eat fish.
Chuckles.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a cheat.
It's a cheat.
It's 100% of a cheat. It's not a little bit.
So I don't
That
tell
is
people
pork
I'm
pies. You know that
vegan.
they add pork pies there to
Probably.
solidify around.
No, that's more
around.
like gel sweeties.
That's how they do it. That's
I
how
don't eat
it's
fruit
pork pies.
pastels. I know. Ew. So no, but I'm
Wait,
lucky
did you
because I
say
don't
pus?
Yeah.
I don't like
Oh,
meat.
I thought you said pies. This whole time I've
Pork
been
pies. Why do they put pork pies in lattes? I mean, when did that happen?
It's like, what is going
We've been
on?
really under a rock. Yeah.
No, it was just I don't go into a pig abattoir.
No, you should. You
So,
should.
but
It's great.
I stopped eating meat when I was like in school because I just didn't fancy the taste
Yeah.
all that much. So for me, it was quite easy. It's easy to say I'm vegetarian because I'm actually just fussy. I don't
Right.
like the taste.
Yeah.
But I'm also quite glad that I don't eat animals. But I don't, I think a balanced life is what we all should be after, ultimately.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
make responsible choices when you go and do your shopping.
I agree. So, being the fish person, even though you don't eat fish, would you help the layman meat eater or fish eater for sure, especially after Seaspiracy? What is the best way to go after and look for the best kind of fish that is not endangered?
So,
and how can we check on that?
Yeah, so the best thing actually is people should have a look at, use the Sassy Guide. Which
Well,
is really
because
good.
they were talking about that as well, and they were saying, there's no such thing
Yeah.
as sustainable.
Dolphin-friendly
Yeah,
labeled
but
tuna. How do now we don't?
It
Now we
is.
can't believe
you know
that.
What, it's,
Okay,
it
so the
is.
Sassy Guide.
that's-
Okay,
Sassy
well-
Guide is good, and it's not a certification; it's a guideline.
Okay.
But
Sassy
and then
Guide.
they were very much against MSC, but I think it's a fantastic program because it's like really holistic. They look at, are there enough of that fish species to sustain a fishery?
There's the Sassy list.
Is
Can I
there-
play that on the comments?
Yeah,
Is that the
is
one?
there impact on the environment through the fishing methods? It's really, I think it's amazing. So MSC,
Okay.
but what's important?
Unfortunately, they had a
for-
guy from the MSC who
Yeah,
looked
but
like
they-
he'd just taken mushrooms or something. Remember that guy? And he was like, yeah, it could be that
Yeah,
we
but-
didn't see anything
No,
because
that
we
was
weren't
the
there
dolphin.
because
That
we
was
were
the dolphin
stoned.
guy.
all look like
that was
elephants.
the dolphin guy, the
Was it the other
dolphin
guy?
friendly guy.
Uh,
But the way they interviewed wasn't really so, I would say, ethical.
Yeah.
But in any case, so there are sustainable choices,
Okay.
and then what I quite think people should support
Yeah.
is small scale fisheries.
Yes.
Because we're a coastal community. So if you're in Hart Bay, go down to the Hart Bay fisheries and see or Cork Bay, what's coming fresh off the
Okay, that's great
boats.
advice. I've never bought fish from the harbour ever before.
No,
Oh,
you
my favorite
should.
is Cork Bay Harbour. There's a
Yeah.
Muslim woman who keeps threatening to make love to me, and after selling me a fish.
Only after sending it.
Yeah, because
No, I don't know. You've led us down a bit of a fish rabbit hole here. A fish hole. So she'll make love to you once you buy a fish.
it's confusing.
Okay.
It's, it
is.
It's complicated. But support your local harbour.
Yeah.
Okay.
great.
100%.
Hashtag
Because it's
complicated.
supporting livelihoods and supporting people,
Okay,
which I
so
think is really important.
where in Hart Bay, like, do you know where I would just go offhand, like just to
if
any,
you go
just
around
any
the
of the jaws?
backside to Snookies, because there are lots of boats coming in,
Yeah.
but also make sure that what you buy is sassy green, and then also
Ah.
go and look at Abelobi. So I love them. It's an app, and and they support small scale fishers, and they help them to
Abelobi?
get their product to market.
How do you spell Abelobi?
Abalobi is
Like-
Xhosa for fishermen.
Exactly. There we go.
Okay, well done.
Abalobi, Abelobi.
Okay, careful, got it.
So they're amazing, and they've joined up in Elands Bay, all the historical fishing communities
Yeah.
to support them to ensure that their product gets to market.
love
So
this.
there's
I'm
full
quoting this-
traceability,
Okay.
and they're supporting the actual fishers. And I have huge respect for
Putting this link in.
people from the sea or people of the sea, ocean people, and who historically
Okay.
their
So
grandfathers.
you can't eat that fish. So you can't eat anything.
So
from anywhere else.
Abelobi's and like sometimes in a bit of a grey zone because sometimes fishers would catch something that's orange
Yeah.
on the sassy list, but then
Yeah.
you're not going to throw it back because then that's a little bit of a waste.
Right.
But because it's small scale fishery and it's well controlled, I think it's worthwhile
there's no
supporting.
there's no Apple app for Abelobi.
No, there is.
Is
Not.
it? Okay. No, I believe
But
it.
in any
Just
case,
check it
no,
out,
no.
guys. Go and do your research. That's brand new to me, so I'll promise
Yeah,
you
and
I'll be doing
restaurants can order through them, so it's really there's full traceability,
Okay.
and they do a lot of training with the fishers. And the just before COVID, so last year, whenever it was, maybe the
that.
year
They do
before.
training with the fishers.
Yeah, so they had the small scale fishery conference of Africa in Cape Town.
Okay.
And it's real fishermen. I just love their stories and
I think
everything.
she means fishermen. Fisher
yeah, but
people.
fishermen. Yeah, fishermen. But
people.
It's best to say fishers
Not the
because
actual
they're
fishers.
really amazing.
Fishers.
Fisherwomen as well.
Got it. Oh, gender
Fishers,
neutral.
yes,
Got it. Sorry.
yeah.
It's like a steward on a plane. It's not a stewardess or like that.
Yeah, so
okay,
fisher.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Yeah, sorry. Fisher people.
Okay.
And they
wonderful.
came, I showed them around the aquarium. And of course, they know fish so well, but they were just blown away. So the best thing about doing a tour at the aquarium is to do it with people who love the ocean and love fish.
Yeah.
And they're just mind blown because we've got like really big white stembras who've been there for.
Watch when you do the fish measuring thing, because then the mic goes away from your mouth.
Make it a small fish.
just do micro. Let's talk micro scale for
Oh,
now.
so really big fish.
There we go.
But going back to where we started.
Yes.
Japan. Okay?
Yes.
So when I was in Japan, which I loved, and I think I'd be able to live there, I loved it so much.
Okay.
It's the amount of respect you see for the ocean is when you're there is amazing. So of course you see like they catch all the fish, they eat whales, blah blah blah, but they've been doing it for thousands of years. So I went to visit an aquarium in Fukushima.
Ooh,
and
that's another conversation. Carry on.
You actually had a Fukushima interview yesterday.
I'm very worried about that.
We can get to that.
They're
Okay,
doing
we can
hundreds
get
of
to
millions.
that.
They're about to dump that in the
Yeah,
ocean.
we can get to that.
All the
I
waste
can
they've
give
been
you
collecting
the science
since
behind it.
2011. That's a belief. That's very urgent for me.
Do those fish in Fukushima, is it like permanent phosphorescence?
No,
I
so
can see in the dark.
it's
definitely.
really important but this loops back to the water that's going to get dumped. But first, the Fukushima story.
Yes, that's fascinating.
So they teach kids this aquarium. You know, this aquarium's got the Cape Town aquarium. All aquariums got touch pools.
Yeah.
That aquarium's got a touch lagoon basically. So they encourage people to come with their towels, lie on the beach, swim in the lagoon because they want to connect people back to the ocean. Which is really amazing.
In Fukushima.
But Fukushima's fine now. Chill.
Okay,
We'll get to that.
I'm
scared of getting deep.
paranoid.
I don't eat fish, and I ate fish. It's another story. In Fukushima in 2018, when they opened up, you can eat fish again, and I'm still okay, I think.
Okay.
And then they teach kids to fish there. So there are these sweet old Japanese men who help kids to bait up. This is all inside the aquarium. And then they catch a little fish that's similar to mullet, like harders.
Yeah.
Then they've got to take it off the hook, put it in their bucket. They've got to go around to a kitchen space and they teach them how to cook it and then they eat it. Therefore, those kids know where their food comes from, which our kids don't know. You go to the store and buy something in a plastic.
I take Sophie to the fridge every day and go, "You want a saucy? There's your saucy." She goes, "No, I want a saucy now." No, you first have to get it out the fridge, put it in the microwave, take it to the table, then you can have it.
Teaching basic hunter-gatherer skills.
No one knows what's in the saucy. But we'll have the saucy. We just won't have the vaccine because we don't know what's in that.
So the Japanese kids know what's in what they eat.
I think that's amazing. That
I
is
also
incredible.
think, and they really actually respect the ocean. So Fukushima, what was it, 2011.
2011.
So massive earthquake, tsunami.
Yeah.
The Daiichi plant. What happened was actually the plant shut down automatically when there are earthquakes because they were rigged up for that.
Yeah.
But the tsunami, it wasn't even a big wave. The water level just rose. The plant was spec'd to cope with 5.5 meter rise above sea level, and it went up 14.5 meters.
Holy!
So when they shut down the plant, they still got to keep the cooling system going, because they create steam energy.
Yes.
With nuclear activity, radioactivity.
Yeah.
So it's about 300 degrees Celsius. So then the electrical works flooded. So they couldn't cool it, so it melted. And then a piece of something very hot fell into the containment tank, which the steam, it evaporates and condenses a bit, and that absorbs radioactive nuclides. And that then leaked into, the environment and in the ocean.
Yeah, and then they started building containers quickly and badly. And they've all deteriorated in the last 10 years.
So
and
the
now all that
containers were there in any case. They had to store it in any case, but they stopped operating.
Yeah, but there was a big story about how they were rushing to build these massive water tanks.
I suppose they were rushing to build everything,
in order to contain the fallout, which I understand. But there were stories 10 years ago already talking about how they made them so quickly that they were already starting to deteriorate. Is that where our run of water is coming from?
So
you've actually been there. Sorry,
I've been there. Okay, to decommission a nuclear power station
Yeah.
generally takes 30 to 40 years.
Yes.
So it's a long process. So
Yeah.
they've got enough storage space for another 2 years, and that's why they're getting now desperate. But
Right.
the water is getting purified.
How do you
Okay.
purify?
No,
nuclear water?
really, you can drink it actually, but it's seawater, so you don't want to drink it. So so that's what doesn't come through like the
In the
journalist
story.
stories.
Yeah.
So, but not all of the water's been purified, and then they take out all these little nuclear atoms because it's just unstable. In fact, we've got in our bodies everywhere there
Yeah.
nuclear activity actually, or radioactive activity.
Yes.
And they take it out, and there's only one component still in this water that they now need to dump.
Yeah.
And it's going to take them 20 to 30 years. So on average,
Yeah.
if you work it out, it's going to be like a Olympic-sized swimming pool maybe every 2 weeks
Right.
that they will discharge.
Release slowly. Okay.
And the only radioactive component still in it is if you mix it with phosphorus, it glows in the dark. But it's actually really safe. So I happened a few years ago, I had to fly to Joburg or back or something, and I always try and I'm in my bubble, don't talk to me, stranger. And then the stranger started talking to me next to me, and he was one of the top nuclear scientists in the world. And I was like, I don't want to be nuked, it's all bad. And then, well, he gave me the scientific background of it.
Yeah.
And then eventually he actually said, oh, look what's in my pocket. And he pulled out this handful of little glow-in-the-dark beads. And he said South Africa is one of the biggest producers and exporters of glow-in-the-dark stuff, which is radioactive material,
Yeah,
basically. And he said to me, I wouldn't be carrying this in my pants
If I thought-
pocket
yeah.
if it was going to harm me.
Yeah.
So it gave me a very different perception. The problem I have with this decision that
Yeah.
America, supporting, by the way, of Japan to discharge all this water, is you shouldn't be discharging anything into
Yes.
the ocean.
I know.
So I would encourage South Africans, let's clean up our act first, because Hot Bay is discharging a lot of raw sewage.
Yeah.
Greenpoint, it's 40 million litres a day.
I know.
So,
This
you know.
Diza River right here is
So,
such a big problem. as well
let's
now.
focus on, let's clean up our act here.
I know.
So I would say the scientific risk of this discharge in Japan is there is no risk actually.
Really?
They dropped, Japan immediately, voluntarily stopped their fishery after the incident in 2011.
Yeah.
If you test the fish, it's below standard in the world, but they dropped their standard. So usually in the units that you measure it, it's like 1,200 units per kilo of fish, and Japan dropped it to 100. And they said if our fish present over 100, it's like a no-go zone.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm getting a comment in here. Steve Bridges from California, who I know, shout out and hello, and he's challenging that it's not. He's not on my side, but he's saying the contamination has spread all the way to the salmon on the west coast of the US.
No, so interestingly enough, it has, because the Pacific is a really active ocean.
Yeah.
So whatever you toss in on Japan's side is going to end
of
up
course,
actually
and that's the current.
go around. And so it has, and they found tuna also with radioactive material in it. However, the level was lower than what you would find in a banana or in your heart because of potassium.
Right.
So you got to put it in context. So again, my focus is going to be don't discharge anything anywhere.
Yeah.
The risk
Totally.
of that is, but there's definitely in rock and stone. Your castle is going to be full of radioactive energy.
I'm sure.
To be quite honest,
I'm sure, but Fukushima was quite a big thing. And the other story for me is that since then they've been releasing hundreds of thousands of gallons of this discharge into the oceans. Since then, every day, and it's been one of the biggest cover-ups by TEPCO in history. It's a thing. So I'm also refreshed to hear that because I've been panicking secretly. So it's nice to know that you've been there and that you don't say it's as bad as it is.
Look, I
still
don't
need a lot of
support
research.
it. I think it's terrible, but I also think I say information's king. So have all the information at hand,
Of
because
course.
what are you going to do about it?
Hey,
I
we've
want to
got
ask.
Jeffy. Jeffy just pulled into the show.
Oh, look at the
How's that,
woo!
Jeff? There's our boy. Jeffy he hasn't seen many turtles yet.
Oh,
So this is his first turtle
oh,
experience.
he's so soft. So I think people must be
Jeffy.
super aware.
Yeah.
But also bring it home and think, what can you do about it here at home? Or what can you do here at home to
Yeah.
look after the environment?
Yeah.
And not just always go like, oh, this country's doing that one's doing that.
Yeah.
But I know that the rules and regulations and legislation in place forces people to actually clean up their act.
Yeah.
And that was a very
I must say the
unfortunate
Japanese
incident.
are they're quite on it, because what I heard was quite a crazy story. I remember, did you hear that like when it happened, how they were like voluntarily the older generation were just going, well, listen, we've lived lives, so those 60 plus were going in to do the initial cleanup because they knew they were going to die.
But they didn't
so
die.
It's so Japanese.
So
like,
that is, oh my word, they're so apologetic.
I
and like it's amazing.
but
But they didn't die. So about 20,000 people died, but it was because of they drowned.
Right.
And more than 50% of them were actually over the age of 65. They were really old.
Right.
So they've been checking because thyroid cancer is actually the biggest
That would
risk
be the
of
big one.
contamination, and they haven't seen an increase at all.
And can't you take that blue stuff that helps you prevent the thyroid? There's a thing you can take that stops it getting into the thyroid, apparently.
I'm not sure.
Some medicine. If people are listening, try and Google that. I think that was a big thing during Chernobyl. You had to take a certain thing, and then your thyroid gets protected from it. Anyway, it's a hell of a big story, and Fukushima could be a podcast.
So Fukushima is in a really challenging position because now it's massive reputational damage. I mean, I would say to them, no, because now everybody's against Fukushima. Nobody's going to want to go there.
Yeah.
People in California are freaking out, rightly so. And when I went there,
Good positioning. Look at his camera positioning. It's unbelievable. That's insane. You're like center shot. Sorry, I mean he's a big part of the show, everybody. So
awesome.
we have to give some time. Some people won't tune in unless they know that Jeff's going to make an appearance.
He's here.
No, but you're right. So it is reputational damage, and TEPCO's been one of the big cover-ups. Naughty. But I understand, and I must say, from my side, I always had a fascination with Japan, and I won't be deterred by this. I will still go one day. It's very nice to hear.
But when I went, the interesting thing was when I went to fetch my visa.
Yeah.
And I get there, and you're supposed to pay whatever it is, 300 rand. And
Yeah.
they're like, no, you don't have to pay.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And they're like, because you're going to Fukushima. And I was like, is it like danger pay, you know? It's like, and they're like, no, they're really trying
They're just
super
encouraging
hard
people.
to encourage people to come
They
back.
put you to work when you go there.
And then, no, it was an incredible experience. And then I met the aquarium there, actually. So it's in Iwaki, which is about 40 kilometers from the nuclear plant.
Yeah.
So they knew that this big wave was going to hit them. And the director said, okay, all the staff who want to fled and go home, go.
Yeah.
And 70% of the staff said, no, we're going to stay.
Yeah.
We want to stay and we want to help. And of course, it washed away like half of the aquarium.
Yeah.
And they would obviously not prioritize to rebuild the aquarium. They had to rebuild the hospitals and community halls and people's homes. And then the community said, like, we need a happy space to go to. So they rebuilt the aquarium in 3 months, which was incredible. So I met the director of the aquarium, Abe-san. He's like the most respected Japanese man ever. He's amazing. He's like the fish god, basically.
Yeah.
And then he invited me for lunch. And he's like, well, through interpreter, he's like, what do you want to eat? It's like, oh, I'll eat anything. I'm like, I hope it's not fish, okay?
What he
And
said.
then,
You said I'll eat
I was
anything.
like, oh, whatever.
Yeah,
wherever
just
you
trying to
wanna
be a
take me.
polite guest.
So then, of course, he took me to a sushi restaurant in Fukushima. And
In Fukushima. Oh, that's not.
no, so then with the chef, and I kept looking. Oh, when I sat down, they said, would you like some green tea? And I was like, oh, no, not my favorite. No, thank you. And I got 2 cups. It's like, oh,
Okay,
this
so-
language barrier is like a problem.
So the opera. Yeah.
And then they, would you like a beer? Like, no, thank you. No, got a beer. And then I said, well, I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah.
And then I was hoping they'll do like a ladies' portion because I knew if you're in a sushi restaurant, obviously you're going to get fish.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. They brought me like a salad bowl full of
fish. Oh my God.
and I was like, I don't actually know what to do about this. And then it had a pile of caviar on top. So Abe-san is he's a scientist. He's like Dr. In fact, his name is Yoshitara Abe. And then he said to me, oh, is it salmon or trout? And I was like, oh,
Check
I
the
can
lineage on
see.
that, by the way, Nick.
I can see it's salmon eggs. And he's like, oh, bring some trout. So they brought me a bowl of trout eggs. And I was like, oh, no, God. And I ate half of the fish. It was really good.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't, because it's so fresh. It's such Japanese quality is insane.
No, it's insane, yeah.
So, and I went to the fish market as well. You can't smell it. But it was lovely. And then they brought the thing that looked like a monkfish, but it wasn't. So after all of the sushi, it was like a cooked, boiled, deep-sea fish thing. And
Are you forcing the sushi down at this point, or are you secretly enjoying it?
No, so I've got a secret enjoyment of vegetarian sushi. So I went
No, I'm talking about the fish part.
No, I don't. I really, really don't. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, please do.
You don't what?
I don't enjoy eating fish.
So, but I mean, so are you force feeding
Yeah,
yourself?
during this time, are you literally going,
100%. Like,
"Wah."
smell.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so delicious.
So like a
yeah,
blah.
out of I would respect to Abe-san. I was just nodding, yes, it's amazing. And then the Japanese eat a lot and fast. And they're so tiny. Like they eat, and they eat meals for breakfast, lunch, dinner. There's no cereals or stuff. It's fish and vegetables and salad 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So he finished all his food, and then he was scratching around in the carcass of this deep sea fish, and he pulled out the otoliths, which are like little ear bones.
Oh, stop
and
it.
you use that, you can age a fish because it makes little rings like a tree.
Toothpick. Yeah.
And he was like, and I was like, oh, otoliths, and he just loved me.
He didn't
just
use
thought,
it as a toothpick.
No, he's
Oh.
a
Are
scientist.
you just happy that you knew
He
what it
wanted to show it to me as a
determine the
scientist,
age, and
then I
you
could say,
one-upped him.
I also know what it is,
See,
and we
that
just
is
loved
it's
each
a respect
other.
thing. They love it.
Yeah.
Well done.
It was amazing.
When did you go to Fukushima? That's an awesome story. I like
It
that.
was at the end of 2018, actually,
Jeffrey, what's going on,
because we were supposed to have like a conference in 2019, but because it was supposed to be Olympics in 2020,
Yeah.
they like banned all conferences and things in 2019 so they could prepare for the Olympics,
Oh, I see.
which then, of course, is now later this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still going ahead of that. I think they are.
Well,
Yeah, from what I understand.
yeah, that's the plan, so we'll have to see.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. So Fukushima. So you think it's going to be okay?
I think,
Just-
let's not talk about Fukushima, let's talk about the world.
Okay.
I don't think
Yes.
we give this planet enough credit. Like
Yeah.
if Mother Earth, whatever it is, the planet gets sick of us, it can just shake us off, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I feel...
Kind of doing that now, if you think.
Yeah,
About it. Yeah.
I feel good about trying to tread as gently as possible because I'm inspired by nature. I love it.
Yeah.
And ideally, if I could be meaningful to other people, is to connect them to their own natural environment. So not everybody's at the coast and is going to love the ocean and be ocean mad or want to be
Yeah.
a dolphin.
Yeah.
But wherever you are,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of either environment or nature,
Yeah.
and it makes people happy.
Yeah.
You know? So
So what I always wanted to ask you all along, and I've told you, you've seen the boat that I've got, and I'm going to take you out whether you like it or not, Nik. I'll show you. She's beautiful. She really is. That's a whole different conversation. For those who want to follow, it's just check it out on Instagram.
I don't know if I'm coming now that I know the beanbags are no longer on the boat.
there are beanbags on
I've
the
got
boat.
too many
Oh, I see.
beanbags.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. So it's follow Tim SV.
But you have to dress up like a sailor, like a pirate. Actually, it's got like a real.
I think the
good
turtle
vibe.
suit will be more than welcome again. Really. You just rock
Oh,
that thing.
yeah.
And,
I'm going to dress up as a prostitute because sailors need prostitutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I didn't want to be the one to ask.
I mean, if I can do a turtle suit, why can't I?
Can you be a turtle prostitute? What would that be? Not allowed.
No.
Why is that frowned upon?
Yeah,
Who
we
knows
need
it-
more turtles in the world. Think.
Turtles need entertainment
Pleasure.
too, you know.
well, we're not going to have a biology lesson about turtles, but it's amazing because turtle females will mate with a whole bunch of males and they can decide, I'll use his now. So they store the sperm for
No
later
ways.
use.
I
Yes
think
ways.
I think that's what you should put on your Tinder profile.
Turtle.
I'm not going to have a profile.
We are doing it today. Still, you'll have
No, change
you'll be
the
swiping
topic.
left before you
were
know it.
saying something inspiring. Get
Okay.
back to that.
So what I wanted to ask. So I've got the boat now, and the
Yes.
idea, the dream at the moment, and it can, as we all know, can be stopped in your tracks at any second. But for the longest time, I've been doing it. I've got my coastal skipper, yacht master. I did that 11 years ago. People thought I was mad, which is understandable. I didn't have a boat then, but I was like, I just feel like I want this license. It's quite an advanced license. And then 11 years later, I found this boat that I'm in love with. It's an old piece of South African history, you know, built by the SA Navy in 66, fully wooden, beautiful, bulletproof, got the highest certifications on it that I can as far as safety are concerned. And we're doing charters. The dream and the idea is that I want to, especially since the pandemic, but I bought this before the pandemic, is I want to head east. I want to sail east. I know it sounds, people go, where do you want to go? I want to go east. It's the wrong way around the world, but I want to go from here. I want to go to Mozambique, Madagascar, Western Coast, Seychelles, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Indonesia, and if that takes me quicker than 5 years, I've failed. So I want to go as long as possible east until I get all the way in through the Pacific, through the Panama Canal, spend some time in the Caribbean and then end in the Med. And again, that's 10 years for me. So I want to try and do that within a year. That's the idea. So because I'm building up a little bit of a thing here and all the years spending my, on my brand for whatever it's worth, I want to associate with something that's going to make a difference, especially when it comes to ocean, because I obviously have a passion for ocean. So I would like to know, and you don't have to answer now, but I was always going to come to you at the end of the day. Unfortunately, not going anywhere because we have each other's phone numbers, which is fabulous. But like, what is the one, like if you're going to dedicate your life towards plastic or conservation or fishing or anything, which is the one? Because as you know, I can't have sail full of looking like an F1 car with support this and no plastic and too much fish and no meat and only vegan. So we've got it's got to be one
Big
thing
one.
that I stand by
Yeah.
and maybe become an ambassador. I'll share with you like a little side secret that I've had. I even messaged Sea Shepherd. I was like, guys, for whatever it's worth, I've got a 66-foot super rock hard wooden boat. And I'm happy to ready some cannons if we need to go chase fishing
You
vessels.
make the best Sea Shepherd pirate I could think of.
Totally. You could go chase the
I'll go
Patagonian
chase fish.
Anti-pirate pirate.
poachers.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like the reverse.
You need a pirate
boat.
to understand a pirate.
You'll totally be a pirate.
So that's where I'm at. Like I want to align with something like, because this is Kif music's nice. This is fun and being on land is fun, but I want to go and do it while I'm still fat and bouncy and while all my things are in the red.
There are like amazing causes.
While I can hold my breath for up to 13 seconds.
His target was always going to be 45. Just get to 45 because then I beat Nick.
I did an hour and 20 in traffic yesterday, guys.
Exactly. My heart rate was below. That's what it should have been.
Oh, flip. Your route sounds very much like a turtle route.
Yes.
And I think, what I always recommend to people is like, well, you look at your brand, of course, but there's so many amazing causes,
Yeah.
but you in your heart's going to align with one
Correct.
because you want to make a difference.
Yes.
And for me at the moment, and I never take the easy route, but I encourage people to do what can you actually do?
Yeah.
You know, we can't save sharks from shark finning because we can't stop eating shark fin soup in Cape Town because there is no shark fin soup kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to look at what is impactful
On a global scale.
and you've got a big audience, so how can you inspire people to change behaviors and long term, not just
Yes.
short term? So it's easy like, are we going to buy those cool water bottles?
Yeah,
But are we still
exactly.
going to do that next year or
I
in
know.
5 years' time?
And the straws and masks are not even the real big problem, but they are. But yeah.
No, so but they're easy to fix.
Yes.
So if everybody picks one or two easy fixes, it's going to make a huge difference.
Yes.
So and then ultimately you want to tell stories. So through your music you can tell amazing stories.
Yeah.
So there used to be this amazing series on like Discovery or something, People of the Sea.
Yes.
And this guy, French guy, loved his accent. Added to the little list, yes. Nice accent. So he went all over the world to communities who are very connected with the ocean.
Yeah.
And this one, I actually went into Japan to the guy who designs fishing lures. And then through that guy, they met this rock star, young guy, and all his music, but he was like a heavy metal headbanging rock star, was about tuna. Because he said the youth did not understand what tuna is about. And when you catch a tuna or eat a tuna, it's a ritual.
Right.
And when you live through rituals, you start to respect things because that's the traditional way.
Yeah.
So you would sing these rock songs about
tuna.
the meat.
Okay, look, I don't know if I'm going to focus my whole catalogue on a purpose.
Let's do a fish song. Come on.
I may do a fish song or two. I'm talking about the sign to put on my sail that people see for whatever it's worth.
We're going to find the
Okay.
right cause
Okay.
with the best impact.
Okay.
Absolutely. But just coming back to you need to do a
Kelp
fish
farms.
song.
Kelp farms. We need more kelp farms.
More fish for guys.
So there's definitely a good scope for algae farming, actually, because people want to eat plants, but they also want to eat sea plants.
Okay.
But that's not a cause.
That's
No,
not
we're
a
gonna
cause.
find
I
the
need it.
real
That's a
cause.
solution, and that's
There's some really nice causes
Okay.
of people because you need to impact people
Correct.
ultimately. Because
Correct.
if you inspire or impact on people, it's going to save the
If
planet.
there's one thing we could get people to sign up to,
Yes,
because
and
petitions
do,
help,
like,
and,
you know, like-
and to act on as well.
Yeah,
So-
I'm like petitions. Yeah, like how much legislation
I
do you
know,
fight?
I
Actually, it's like
know,
action. You
I
know, if
know.
somebody tells you today, whatever, don't do this because of the impact, like let's change the way.
Yeah.
In fact, be more aware of your carbon footprint, which is super easy. Waste management, energy use. I mean,
Yeah.
living on a boat is like really
relatively
you
zero.
Tick all the boxes.
Yeah.
But
And that'll
we
be the only
actually-
time that I'll ever fish, because I will fish, and I'm not a fisherman. I never even enjoyed fishing as a youth, partly because I only met my father when I was much later. That's a side story. But I've never enjoyed it. But when I'm on board, we'll have a knife in hand and I will pull that fish up and I will eat it.
'Cause
But
that will be your food,
I will eat
yeah.
it. So that's going to be my little lowering the
Yeah.
carbon footprint. But like one thing that I've learned, I mean, I wonder if I'm sure Nick knows this, but the fact that we've justified our whole lives, like getting on a plane every weekend and traveling and playing to whatever size audiences, getting on a plane every time. I mean, that's already one thing that we've kind of lessened a lot. Is just lowering that carbon footprint.
Yeah, hugely actually.
Yeah,
with air
so
traffic.
so there's
So
all these
just
little
quickly
side.
back to the fish and a little bit of Fukushima is if you catch a tuna, it's highly likely that it has got a high level of mercury.
Yes.
So I also say to people, like, let's worry more about that. So there are a lot of heavy metals from industrial stuff that's happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so
that's why you don't
eat
eat
small fish.
I've just got a question.
But eat small fish.
This is just a personal thing for me because I used to go to this beautiful beach with my folks like 25 years ago. We would go down to Silverstrom. Have you heard of Silverstrom Strand up the west coast? Not far. They used to have raves and like trance parties and things. Then we would
like way points mean.
Yeah, Maryke might not so sure.
I was like, I just want to be a dolphin. I want to rave.
She was doing a play at the time in Pretoria.
We get that back to another
Okay,
story.
what's that
Silverstrom?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so, and we used to drive down this dirt track before you get to Silverstrom Pavilion. There's the turn off to the left, and we'd go down 3 kilometers, walk down a river, pick in the river. We would pick waterblommetjies, not waterblommetjies, the other thing that's similar.
Yeah.
And then spend the day on this like deserted, beautiful 5K stretch of beach. And on my way back from Potchefstroom Farmer in Darling, I decided to go there.
Yeah.
And discovered you can't go down the dirt track because there's now like a game farm or something. So I walked for an hour along the coast, and I saw more plastic than on a beach than I have in like my life. And I've been trying to find a way to do a cleanup. I've spoken to a few organizations, but we don't know who owns that piece of land. And it's next door to Kuberg, the Kuberg Reserve, between Silverstrom and Kuberg.
And there was plastic on the beach.
Yeah, it's like years of being washed up from boats.
Because there's just nobody there.
There's nobody there. There's no one there to pick it up.
Yeah.
I found a whale bone and a plastic elephant actually together.
That is
on that beach.
Because many years ago, elephant used to come and graze down at Hermanus Pietersfontein in Hermanus, and you could see the whales and elephants at the same time. And I keep thinking, imagine that. So you just
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it.
But yours is
It's a purple one.
You need people to care to like stop messing and start picking it up, because just after lockdown we went to Robben Island for a cleanup, and I was like, I could not believe the amount of waste, and it's not generated there. Obviously, it's all off ship, so there's lots of stuff with like foreign languages on, and then of course from Cape Town as well.
Yeah.
But because there was nobody there to do any cleanups, it just accumulated. We could have stayed for a week and we could have cleaned up.
Yes.
I don't know, all day, every day. So, but again, it gets back to waste management. Be responsible. We all can, and that starts with education.
Yeah.
So if kids don't realize littering is
So
bad,
Pink Floyd is wrong, actually.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd is wrong all along.
Oh,
we do
yeah,
need
absolutely.
education. Okay, you see, that's how we were brought up
Yeah.
to think we don't need education. Now we do.
But there's a difference between academic education and like art education.
Yeah,
You need
exactly.
to like
and
connect.
sarcasm in the classroom we don't need.
No.
Dark sarcasm.
Thought control we don't need either.
Wow. You'd
Pink
think
Floyd
that.
fans, I love this. So we need to inspire, well, not even inspire, kids need to realize that littering is bad. It's not normal.
Yes.
And in South African context, it seems to be normal because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a long time, but therefore we need to inspire kids. So I reckon if you run around in a turtle onesie
That could
and
help.
tell kids you save me, you'll inspire
It's
them.
like the ZB. Remember the ZB dude?
Zip it in the ZB bin.
Zap it in a ZB.
So
Well,
I
and that
love
also
that.
brings
It
us
was
to.
amazing.
I was listening to somebody talk about this the other day. How the original recycling programs in the States and littering. It was called litterbug. Remember the term litterbug?
Yeah.
And that whole thing was started by companies producing plastic. And it was basically a form of gaslighting to make the consumer feel like it's their fault that there's all this stuff. And meanwhile, what are these giant plastic companies?
But the giant plastic companies produce it because the consumers are prepared to buy it.
Right.
Yes.
So the power is still with the consumer.
Yes.
But you have to be able to find an alternative that's also affordable in a South African context.
Yes.
So we can't just go, no this, no that, but actually some people are fully reliant on it.
Yeah. Well, I also mentioned this to my previous guests who were on here, and we're just talking about, if you think about some of the conditions that some people are very unfortunate to be coming from, and like if you think that you've been reduced down to an animalistic human, like, you know what I mean, we're having been deprived of everything, and you finally get your hands on a bottle of water, you drink the bottle of water, the last thing you're thinking about is where are you going to place that bottle of water. You're going to drop it right there as you desperately run off. I don't care how educated you might have been, but when you're living in an, in an animalistic, you know what I'm saying? Like when you've been stripped down to like taken into. I'm sorry, if I've been on the streets for 2 days and I've been begging for money and I'm starving 3 days, I'm sorry. It's like that plastic bottle, unfortunately, is not going to be my top priority. So now you must understand.
To survive.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? So this is the tsunami. This is our own cultural tsunami that we're up against. It's like, never mind education, which, don't get me wrong, it's everything. But we also now have poverty, which is all as a result of corruption, and we get people reduced to these states where, given a choice, they're going to drop that bottle right in front of the most stern.
But now there's value to that bottle. So what's nice, in Hartbeespoort actually, I don't know if
correct.
you've seen on Saturdays the swap shop.
Oh, lekker.
So,
Tell us
which
about
is
that.
amazing. So the Hamburg community, they all come down, the kids with like bottles, plastic,
Lekker.
and then they swap it for essential goods. So toiletries or
Who started
2-minute
that?
noodles.
How did that happen? Do you know? Doesn't matter if you don't. It's just
so
amazing
no,
that it
just
exists.
if you on a Saturday, just walk through the harbour to like the slipway,
What?
and you'll see the container there. It's like so amazing. So it's
I know
important
nothing
for
about a harbour,
yeah.
Sorry.
When you live hard.
Well, on a boat.
Yeah, on a boat. Then you should know the harbour. So I think it's important for people to realize if we just go, oh no, it's terrible, it's waste. It's not waste.
Yeah.
We got the nicest T-shirts made from recycled plastic bottles.
Wow.
But it's really good quality. We got it sponsored, and I was like, let's buy this, a staff uniform, but it's actually quite expensive.
Right.
But there's a value to it.
Yeah.
So there's a big actually backlash in saying recycling, no, don't, because it shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
But it's already there. So whatever's produced, all the plastic that's been produced for the last 50 years is still in existence.
Yeah.
So recycling and repurposing is a really good option. And there's a value to it. So
we can even make roads out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I've been doing that in J-Bay, and they've been making bricks and all these things. I mean, it's amazing.
Concrete.
And we can make lots of things. So it needs to be repurposed to something useful that's going to last.
Yes.
And Captain Van Plastic, because Ben joined that cool session as a pirate, remember, online. And it's not trash, it's treasure. So collect it. Don't throw it away, collect it.
That's huge.
And let's figure out a way of turning it into something useful. And that's really important.
She's so uplifting.
That's amazing. I must say.
You can throw anything at her.
No, it's unbelievable. She turns it around.
Fukushima, I love the world.
It's
Plastic's
incredible.
good.
No, I'm telling you, I'm not even joking. I'm completely blown away by your optimism, because I am a little bit of a pessimist. Actually, not. That's a complete lie in this therapy. So I'm a complete pessimist.
Therapy session.
I really am. I'm
I
the
can
one.
see it from your dad's side. If I look at your arm.
I've got a weapon with my arms being moving every time I talk about my dad. I swear that's what's going on. But I'm a pessimist. So here's my statement. Like, I'm going to go and say I want to do only good. If you know my catalog for all my mistakes, I only preach good. I really do. Kindness. I don't care how wussy it appears. I own it. I'm all about kindness and peace and all that, and all those things.
Love and light.
That look very un-rock and roll, but I stand by it. But in my dark side, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm doing all this against, like, I don't know how we're going to make a difference in our lifestyle, in our lifetimes. So it's been very refreshing to hear someone who's just like, oh, there's no problem whatsoever, because I'm kind of doing it.
Lots of problems.
No. Ultimately,
exactly.
Solutions is the
She's
correct thing.
undaunted.
Exactly. That is exact correct.
But I thought about it the other day, and I was like, maybe I've got a weird disorder, because I've got a lot of people saying to me like, oh, it's so stressful and it's such a big move and you're so brave, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
Like, really?
No, you're lustful life. There's no
okay.
disorder about a beautiful lustful life.
So no, man, it's just love life, be enthusiastic. We can make a difference.
Okay.
And she is still single. Just wanted to put
just hashtag.
And the Nick's got the filter.
But only twice a month, guys. Don't be needy. Seriously, guys. Get your own life.
Nick first.
Get your life.
You
Nick and I will filter
in another country.
Send you. Nik and I will filter. You can
apply to Nik and I.
slide into mine and Nick's DMs. Don't.
She'll use Art's boat to meet you across the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm living next to his boat at the moment.
It'll be at midnight.
It's
It'll be at
nice.
midnight only. There will be 2 ships in the night. Are you living? Are you living? Are you living near the boat?
I'm living virtually.
Are you on my boat? I should probably go and check
Does this
it
boat
out.
builder live next door to you?
I haven't been there for a while. I didn't know.
I'm on his boat.
I need to speak to my crew. They haven't reported you. I would
They
have been
haven't
stoked.
seen me. No, I'm right next to your boat. I missed the boat
Are you on the
Saturday
Jackie O?
night. No, I'm not on a boat.
Oh, yeah, the
I'm
other
at
one.
the V&A. I'm
Okay.
actually not on a boat.
Okay,
I'm right next to the
I know
V&A.
that. You're my neighbour.
I am your neighbour.
Which is why I need you to be there.
So I'm checked, but I'm not for very long. But
Okay.
but
Well,
yeah.
when can you
I
come
see your boat every day. Literally, I walk past it every day.
I should hope so. Would you please let me know if the day you don't? That'll be.
That's what I said the other
And if
night.
I'm not sure, and if the
night
boat.
boat, sleep tight. And then on
Thank
Saturday
you.
night it wasn't there,
Where
and I
is
was
this?
all
Is this in
stressed.
Kommetjie or somewhere else?
No,
That's
in
at the V&A. It's
He's got
Oh,
like
at the V&A.
no, bro,
He's
it's right in
got
front of the
like-
food court.
It's in the harbour.
No,
It's
bro, it's
literally
like
ready to
on
go.
the
in the
North Keeper, it's
marina.
proper.
It's
It's
like
pretty
Wow.
legit.
in
It's got
the
the best
spot.
parking spot, maybe in Africa, if
it
not the world.
does.
So
How
on
did you
Saturday, the
score
reason
that?
it wasn't
No,
here,
I know, because I
because
was
I
here.
sailed here on Saturday and like
Yeah.
a gangster jumped off the boat on
I
my
know,
sub,
it was
went straight for a
awesome.
gig, came back onto the boat.
It was awesome.
It was
So
an
no, I
epic
did
day.
obviously knew it was here, and then on
Okay.
Sunday, did
Oof.
it return on Sunday
Yes,
night?
yeah, but
Yeah,
in
because I was very
conditions-
relieved to see it when it was back. I was like,
Do you know the conditions we sailed back in on Sunday?
really?
Oh my God. No, it was hectic. And then coming around and seeing those fires coming down the mountain, it
oh
looked.
yeah, because it's
I'll never
super
forget that
windy.
sight.
Oh, that wind on
Yeah.
On
yeah.
Sunday, that's what we sailed back in. Well, it was Monday morning by that stage. We left
Yeah.
at 1 a.m. Monday morning in Hut Bay. Got in at about 4:35, and it
Sure.
looked like lava pouring down the mountain. And we had 40 knots on our bow, and it was pushing us. It was very interesting, but we're
Good
good.
crew,
We're good.
good
we had
skipper,
great
you got there,
crew,
well
good
done.
Yeah, it was a
Because
very
you're the ocean queen.
it was a very big
look.
test, but yes, I did cuck myself. I'm not gonna lie. It was a tough one. In Cape Town, she's volatile. This auntie, eh?
Yeah, big
Because she
time.
doesn't bug around. Like she, it's like either this or it's this.
Or nothing.
Yes, Satan. It's not like there's your
Yeah.
breeze. Like it just
All
come.
or nothing.
Yeah. See. Anyway, so that was fun. But before you, when are you? Okay, 2 weeks approximately. Do we have time to take you on the boat? You got to come. You got to come float on the piece of history with
Well,
me.
so I don't. We'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
I've got a.
We're
my
leaving
plan
tomorrow.
was-
Letting you know. We're out and about tomorrow. If you want to come pull in.
Do I have to wear this to get invited?
Yes, but you have to. But you have to wear fishnets. Fishnet stockings. Turtle fishnet
Yeah.
stockings, and you're in the game.
With wooden plugs in my ears.
Nik, you're incredibly invited. We are leaving tomorrow, and we will be departing Sunday as well. I'm doing more drills on board. Seriously, I've got just
Oh,
a whole
really?
crew, and she's a lot of boat, and so the more that I can get out and be doing stuff and maneuvers
Look at
and all
that.
sorts
He's
of
like a
things.
pro.
So
a
I'll be
pro
going,
captain.
I'll be going proper pro boat stuff this weekend. So she's not charter able, but certain guests who are aquarium workers and sea lovers and turtle hookers are very
Turtle hooker. That's
Turtle
it.
pimps. I prefer
turtle
pimps.
pimps. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you've been in the industry
Turtle
long enough.
pimps.
You're not working anymore.
I'm your turtle pimp, baby.
That works, eh? He pulled it off
Totally.
perfectly.
This has been amazing. Thank you. It's what I've wanted. I mean, I could talk for hours, but I know you all have very big important lives, and it's Friday. And when you're gonna get
Friday,
your drink on,
baby.
I'm gonna be like doing yoga this evening to prepare for tomorrow because I need to be sharp as a razor because it's serious stuff, you know. Being on
What's the weather prediction?
no, it's not too hectic. It's quite
Okay.
it's quite mild. It might Sunday might be wet if anything, but it won't be heavy. So we want to throw up all the rags. We want to go. We might go out to Dusset Island tomorrow, and
Oh,
then
my word.
so we'll live aboard on a night and just start. I need to know these things. If I'm going to
It's so
shove off in a year's time, I
exciting.
need to know exactly what she does in all conditions. So I found out on
Yes.
Monday that she handles.
Wind.
Oh my God! But I have
It's a
I put a brand new John Deere engine in her, big
Yeah.
225 horsepower 6-cylinder Karate Kid version 2 engine in, and so that held well.
It's not like a repurposed tractor engine, is it?
Yeah, it's just
It
like-
pretty much is.
Is it?
They made to be generators, but this one is a marine. Yeah,
Oh.
it's Yeah, the only difference is it's just repurposed, but it's the same engine pretty much. But
It's the Dutch sheertrekker.
Sleeper.
Sheerfokker.
It's about the engine is probably it's bigger than this table, and it's a big monster. So she held up against that wind. Obviously, we couldn't go sailing into a harbour with 40 knot winds. We had to be under engine.
So one thing I fell in love with living in the harbour was seeing the pilot boats. I literally, if I was at high school now, I would want to be a pilot boat skipper.
What is a pilot boat?
They pilot the other boats into the harbour.
Yeah, so the little tugs.
Yeah.
It's the tug.
Oh,
the
right.
Tug,
Yes.
The tug operators are called pilots because then they go and they
It's
get the big guys in.
amazing.
They get a cooler title than a skipper. I want to be a pilot as well.
No, you want to be a captain.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's all right.
Yeah. With a
Yes.
seaweed
Listen,
hat.
what happened? Why did all the fish die in the thing? What happened? Quickly. What did you do wrong? What did you forget?
No, so
What switch did you not switch at the aquarium? Because you're obviously responsible for all marine health in South Africa.
the first time ever that we can confidently blame whales for causing a little bit of a disaster.
Nick and I knew it. We've been speaking about this bloody whale.
We're doing whales.
What have they done now?
I love the fact that they're humpback whales because we never used to see so many. So that's like really awesome. And humpbacks, like whales eat krill mostly, but some whales like humpbacks and bruisers also eat small fish. So they were gallivanting outside the harbour and there's a massive shoal of maasbanker, like horse mackerel. And they obviously semi-herded these maasbanker into the harbour. A huge shoal, and they just swam right into the marina, which of course is sort of let's call it a dead end, a blind corner.
Yeah, and it ran out of oxygen.
And ran out of oxygen. Now this happens often, but not with fish, with little shrimp. So there's the faucets, it's like mysid shrimps, where it's like a thick soup. And then the oxygen in the harbour would drop, because we measure it every day in any case.
And then you have to flush.
And then you know, something's about to happen. Then you start seeing things dying. Then the ammonia goes up, but then the oxygen comes up again. And then the VNA, they're really good. So they flush it from like steroxide through. And there's tidal flushing as well.
Yes.
But this time it was like such a lot of fish, and they're oily fish as well.
Yeah.
So oh my goodness,
But like apparently like
smelled.
19 sunfish died or something like that.
So I don't think
What's
it
the
was
story? Would that help
19,
us?
but there
'Cause
were
I'm-
quite a few sunfish. But that was quite strange, actually, that they swam in. Because once the fish started dying, the oxygen level was really low, but it started coming up again. The ammonia level was quite high, but not high enough to cause sunfish to die.
Yeah.
So that was really sad that some of the sunfish also died. The seals pigged out like I've never in my life have seen before. The seals look like pork sausages that's being
They went
cooked,
full
and you know they
lockdown.
like pop like that. They look like they're about to pop. They literally got these tiny little faces in these bodies. So the seals and the birds had a big party. Then the fish started rotting because actually the bottom of the marina is still full of fish.
I know.
So it was, but the VNA organised Spoltech to come and just scoop up fish. So they were shame. They were like, they usually clean up oil spills.
Yeah, they can
So with their
scoop-
little
I
life
saw
jackets
that.
and pool nets and just cleaning up fish.
Goodness.
So it was a natural, let's call it a mini disaster in a semi-unnatural environment.
Right next to our boat. It was very stinky
But
there.
it's okay.
That's
Yeah,
fine,
it was super
but
smell.
there's not a lot of people who come next door and go, oh, that smells, I'd like to charter her today. It
So
affects-
if you go to Saldanha, that's what it smells like. Even
that's
Hot
why I'm
Bay
not
Harbour
in Saldanha.
smells
That's
like
why I
that.
paid 78 billion rand.
I know
a mo-
But yeah,
That's what they used to shout at the fish fokkerij in Saldanha.
Oh my God.
so in case the harbour is not so smelly anymore.
Is it getting better?
It's a lot
is it
better.
okay? Okay. So
Yeah,
I
it's a
heard
lot
it's an
better.
annual thing, but this year was exceptional
No,
because of the whales.
it's because of the fish that got stuck. Usually it's just
Oh,
those
that's
little
because of
shrimps,
shrimp,
and then you'll get
okay.
like little clipfish and those like little things. Because there's not a huge amount of sea life, let's call
Right.
it, in the harbour.
Right.
But yeah, we've seen it, and the aquarium when it was built 26 years was built to go on a closed system in
Right.
case you can't draw water, because it draws water from the harbour,
Right.
and the harbour water is actually really clean, which is quite surprising because people would think it's terribly dirty.
Yeah, I would.
No, it's not. It's actually not that bad at all.
Okay. Well, it is
Yeah.
now. Has been for the last few days.
Yeah, but it's like natural dirt, you know. It's not like E. coli because people are
Just
pooping upstream.
Fish oil. It's lekker.
It's proper fish oil
Good
now.
for your
It's like proper fish oil, yeah. But it's got you'll see tomorrow, it's got a funny colour. The water's like a weird colour at the
Really?
moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we won't be there too long. You're welcome to pull in if you want to. We depart at 10. Bring us.
I will come and say goodbye. I've just got such a busy schedule,
I'm
but that's an
sure.
awesome invite. I feel
I'm
like
sure.
really
What do you mean,
bad
you're
if I
only
can't
leaving in 2
cancel
weeks?
everything. Well, it could be a week and it could be a month.
We're also doing it on Sunday, and I'll take you out myself anyway next week.
You
Kubai.
practice all weekend.
I'll do all the
to be a
practicing. Make
better
sure we're good. I've
captain,
already done the
skipper,
night sail, so
pilot.
that I nailed. I did that. It was quite a tricky docking, I must just say.
Amazing.
Oh, that's why you did the night sail.
Well, it wasn't really. It was because we looked at the wind and we were stuck in Hart Bay. We're like, we have to leave now. It happened to be in the middle of the night. It wasn't to practice.
Can I just say that I think you have the best radio voice in the country?
Who? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, because you've been listening with headphones.
Oh,
Yeah.
see.
Oh, poor shots. I don't.
He can pull the microphone.
Oh, yeah, hold on. I'm going to try and get.
microphone closer.
try and get-
No, really.
Oh.
That's amazing.
serious.
Thank you.
So let's
Thank you
do
very much.
more radio shows.
100%. I would like to, Nick, if you have some time, eventually, whenever the schedule is kiff, I'd like to also have just a little chat. Maybe we can make a fun show about lineage, and you can educate me a little bit about anyone else. Whatever you want, bro.
I would love to. I'd love to come back not in a onesie. To be great.
It'll feel weird to me, to be honest, to have you in clothing. But we'll make an exception.
Nick wants to be your therapist.
I would.
can
I
see
would love
that.
it to come back any stage. As you've seen what the format is. There
Watching
are
that
no.
arm go mad.
Bro, no, that would be insane. That's the bit. You're my therapist. Literally, I won't ask a single question, and you just dig as hard as you can into my psyche. There could be worse. There's worse setups.
But is it going to be live on whatever?
Of course,
we are
it's going to be
now?
live,
See?
and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this.
Nick,
I
you've
think.
got like free range.
Yeah,
I mean, have people been saying things? What
yeah,
are they,
no,
what are
there's
they
been
saying?
beautiful comments. Just saying inspirational, and no, they've been telling you, Nick. Hello,
Eunuch. What?
Eunuch, talking to Eunuch. There's been awesome comments, and as I said, like it's a weird time of day, so not many people will be on it, but it'll go on. And obviously, when you do find your Facebook login, if you can just hit a little share there, and these numbers add up nicely. And I think this has been interesting content because it's been honest, it's been on the spot. There's fucking no editing going on here. I mean, the fucking beep, no fucking editing, beep. Editing going on, and it's cool because this is educational. That's why I wanted you on. Like, I need to know as I go out and hopefully live a life on the ocean. I want to know people like you to first of all cheer me up when I see it being quite desolate out there or not hopeless.
You also need that guy in
Turtle
Scotland. Who's Crab Sticks' GPS guy in Scotland?
He's in Crab Stick. He's in the UK. What is his name?
Crab Sticks is
Crisp. But you know
Chris
Crispy.
Burdish. Chris Burdish, of course.
Yeah.
No. He's also super enthusiastic about everything, and he's now kiting across the
Foiling,
Pacific.
dude.
Foiling.
Wing foiling, yeah.
Maybe he can lend you his coffin to take on the. I mean,
Just
his
as
sup.
No.
Sorry, his sup.
He's using
As
it.
the tender.
He's foiling. The
He's
sup
using-
is being
he's-
modified.
He's using that
Modified.
the one that
Yeah.
he supped on. He's now converted it and he's doing wind foil
Right.
from California to Hawaii. Which sounds like something you and I can do with our current fitness status.
I just wouldn't be able to hold my breath while I was doing it.
Because I like to deep exhale when I foil it.
Oh, I swear.
That's just pumping the keep of the freaking foil.
Oh, flip, yeah.
Oh, I got it. Okay, yeah.
Crispy. But Crispy's doing good work, so actually...
Love Chris Burdish. Big shout out.
He's
doing fantastic work.
I think today or tomorrow, I invoiced them because he's doing a donation to sponsor Kid to do our marine science,
Nice.
grade 10 to 12 course, and to
Awesome.
go to schools in poorly resource areas to go and do some ocean lessons.
Yeah, no,
So
I
he's-
supported his
yeah.
campaign. The Mad Wing. I'm back a buddy. I bought a package. I support. I'm a big.
Look at that.
I'm a big fan of it. Actually, that bottle of champagne behind you, which actually looks like the lid has been eaten. We did have.
It does look-
We had a rat in here. What that? Let me just.
I was going to say, it looks
We had
exactly like a rat
past
chute.
tense.
An alcoholic rat. As well.
The alcoholic. He was desperate during
Jesus.
lockdown, but that was donated by the wonderful Crispy. So. Because
Ah.
when the album came out, he's such a big fan of the record. And he was like, yeah, you go check this out. So we when we can, we hang out a lot. I'm
He
definitely a fan
bought
of his stuff.
me your new CD and you signed it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, as a gift.
You still have a CD player?
No, it's,
I
we
do.
don't just use it. We put it up somewhere.
No, I do
Stick
in my
it-
car, which I'm about to sell.
Yeah.
But so I had to send this stuff to the Netherlands in my little container, and it's books, like mainly books, a little bit of art.
What address did you send it to there?
To the Visvolk.
It's on the thought.
Number 3 for Volkswagen.
So here you say it again.
It's like very difficult for me. I'm like such a nerd. So any case,
I've lost my crown.
and CDs, because I've got a massive collection. What do you do with CDs nowadays?
Why did you send them?
Because then I have them there.
Okay. That's fair enough.
Because what must I do with them here?
Oh God, my camera's just gone off. No one cares. That's again. Let's go wide on you quickly.
I don't have to be in the picture. So see, I will be in the Netherlands with books and CDs and my Antarctica clothes and my art, and that's it. And that's a good
Perfect.
start. Yes.
Perfect. Well, I wish you well. I'm going to miss you because we need more of this. But the good news about this setup is you can phone me on the interwebs.
Totally, but I'm expecting you to pull into like Rotterdam or.
That's the wrong way around, darling. That's 10 years. I'm not going that way.
I know, but eventually, with that big John Deere seat tracker, you're
I
going to make it.
I'll definitely make it. It's just I want to take as long as possible.
Okay, so before you go, Josie hasn't been to Holland or Amsterdam.
No.
She's got to come. So
Let's
let's
maybe do
do
that.
a little Dutch trip.
Okay. That is if
Yeah.
it
Oh,
Oh,
opens-
and then
if
we're
it
going to
opens-
swim in Iceland, because you went to Norway.
Oh God, there's so much. Have you ever worked on a boat to prepare to leave to go somewhere?
So a
There's
boat,
there's no first for Korean
No,
ice cold and Vimov shit
a
that happens in between.
boat is, I call it a boat and a horse, same category. It's a bottomless black pit
Yeah, I know,
that everything
exactly.
goes into.
No, you're dead right, and everyone's
Yes.
told me the 3 F's about the. Which I won't reveal on here because I'm a respectful person, believe it or not. But there are lots of all the things that I've had to learn about boating, which are not things that I want to hear about. The one of them being, you know what the definition of yachting is? It's basically boat maintenance in exotic locations.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you're just always working on your boat, but it happens to be in a kiff place. But you actually just scrubbing and cleaning stuff. And all those shots of Oaks diving off the boat, that's what you do to get rid of all
to
the
get
grease.
to the
from
hole
what
and
you
go,
need.
get rid of the grease in your body, or to go
Yeah,
and
just
clean
put
the
it in
hole.
the ocean. Put grease in. I think is that your message? Am I right, Maryke? Dump as much grease in the ocean as possible at all times, and any dirt. Hey, is that?
Never.
Have I got this wrong?
So what we're gonna do quickly to add this on?
You're totally radioactive already.
Exactly, but
it's like being
it's
a
more
banana.
radioactive than the castle. Put the castle in the ocean and then neutralize the mercury. Is that?
It's natural. Though. It's natural. So we are creating accreditation for yachts, like a blue stamp,
Ooh,
to say that and it will be actually important because you're going to charter people to
Yes,
say,
I
I'm
would
aware
love
of
that.
my waste. This is the amount of water I use. I'm
I'd
actually
love that.
informed. I'm like a semi-marine expert, so I
Yeah.
can tell you what dolphin you see.
okay,
So-
well, I need a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, so let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
get to like Blue Beach.
Full on. Yeah.
Can you do that before you leave?
So what we're doing as part of because the waterfront is on this mission of supporting the ocean economy in a whole lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And so I've proposed this whole list of like cool stuff that we can do there. And one of
Yeah.
them is really looking at the charter boats, the yachts and the super yachts. So that your clients will know
Yeah.
they can trust you as a
So what's it going to be
person
called?
of
It's like
the
a
sea.
blue something.
So we at the moment we just call it like a blue stamp kind of vibe.
Yeah, like a blue flag
But
beach.
at the same, what we're
status.
going to do is we're creating this thing called Sail and Sea Lab,
Yeah.
where wherever you on your journey is
Yeah.
take little water samples, or
Yeah.
just take the pH of the ocean and we
Yeah.
put it all into a big database,
I'd love
and
to.
we'll create a platform on iNaturalist. So if you see dolphins or birds or fish or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
you log
yeah.
it in.
Yeah, plug me
And-
into all that. I want to know because I'm putting a studio on board in the captain's quarters, obviously. So we're going to be recording and having a jaw. And I've got some. There's a lot of boats. So I'd love a little corner of it to be a little lab. So if you'll help
and
me,
it's like easy little things.
Yeah,
so
yeah, just a
then
little
collect
sample
all this
job.
information all over the world and get as many boats as possible. So we actually partnered with the Royal Cape Yacht Club for the Cape to Rio race, which is in
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2023.
yeah,
So we're going to ramp up all these kind of things. So during the race, the yachts will also do
take
that.
samples.
So
and
we're
all
going to
that. Cool.
hopefully do this in Tilina race as well.
Oh, beautiful.
And then eventually in 5 years' time, there's going to be loads of information.
Yes.
And that all becomes sort of citizen science. It creates people being aware of signs.
What if I find signs of Fukushima fallout here in the Atlantic? Can I call and go, hey?
You're going to find
wrong.
signs of fallout here. It might not be Fukushima, it might be Cuba, by the way.
I know, that's another discussion which I don't want to talk about right now because Cuba is the next Chernobyl. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's true.
We're talking about Fukushima, but like, oh.
Okay, we probably should end this now.
We got a turtle. They're actually really good because they suck in water to cool it and also so we got a turtle that got sucked into and they always contact us and it just got it nipped on the back of the shell.
Yeah.
And then we named it Nanook because it almost got nuked. And Nanook recovered well in this onesie suit was in Nanook's release bid. So when I got it out this afternoon, it's just like, farewell, Nanook.
Wasn't there a Nanook in Frank Zappa's song about the...
Yes.
Don't you eat that...
That's the first time I heard the word Nanook was with Frank Zappa.
Watch out where the turtles... No, it wasn't turtles.
Turtles.
Huskies. Watch out where the huskies go and don't you eat that yellow snow.
Oh, yeah, that's Frank Zappa.
That's St. Alphonsus pancake breakfast where I stole the margarine.
He's a tweaker, old Frankie. I thought your camera... Okay, some strange stuff going on here. It's all good. We're all back online. Listen, Maryke, thank you. You're a legend. You're an angel. Your energy is infectious.
It sure is.
And we
This is the one is yawning and he's
no, that's not going on. That's not going on your Tinder profile. Don't worry. There's nothing infectious about you, as far as we know.
Can I get the sanitizer?
Oh man,
you really are. This today has all been about you, and long may it always be about you. And we wish you very well for your endeavors. We're gonna miss you, but you're gonna be on here a lot, whether you like it or not. You're gonna help me with my laboratory, and you're gonna help me get my green flag status.
We got blue
on the blue flag. Any one of them just want the flags. As long as it's endorsed by you, I will trust it. Because if you tell me what to do when it comes to the environment, I'm trusting you.
Lekker.
And Nik, thank you for being such a ridiculous, amazing sport and being the turtle representation.
The turtle pimp. And Maryke, we are going to miss you. Art, me, Josie, all your people.
Yeah.
And we wish you, as the NASA scientists say, Godspeed and the other thing means the star. And as they say in Holland, good luck with all the fucking.
Oh, I need that.
Maryke, we love you. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Please share this where you can. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a beautiful Friday and a beautiful life. And just be conscious and watch out for the fish and be careful and don't eat stuff and all the stuff you've learned on here.
Love the ocean.
And if you're confused, contact Maryke. She knows everything in order to live a better life. Cheers. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Dankie julle. Bye.